I went out of town for a concert while my daughter was sick.
How sick? Like flip sick or like Limp Bizkit sick?
What was the concert?
That is the question. Over 6 months ago, I bought tickets to a concert more than 5 hours away from my city. The concert is tomorrow, and I plan to drive down tonight after work and after dropping my daughter off at her dad's. The ticket and my accommodations are already paid for and non-refundable. I've been really excited for this trip since I found out about it. By the way, this comes from Visaria127, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations, so let us know what you would do down below. And OP says, all week, my daughter, 10, has been homesick. She has a dry cough, a slight fever, but nothing extreme, and a decreased appetite. I work from home, and it's the slow season at work, so I was able to be by her side all week to take care of her. She's slowly getting better, but still not feeling great. I updated her dad on her condition so he could keep an eye on it, but now he's saying that I'm being selfish, and then I should skip my trip so he doesn't catch whatever she has. Okay, but then that would mean that OP catches whatever she has, so,
I think we just went through a big thing a couple years ago that really taught us how to not catch things, right?
Right.
So maybe let's put a little mask on your daughter. Let's
Sure.
put a little mask on ourselves.
Sure.
And let OP go on the trip.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? This feels like more than anything like a power play and just trying to bother you because divorce, right?
I think we need to know the relationship between you two and how you got divorced. That's important. We need to know. So we share custody. During the school year, I have her during the week so I can stay on top of her schooling, homework, extracurricular activities, etc. If I'm not on top of it, he can't be bothered. Her dad picks her up from school on Fridays and has her for the weekend. I pick her up on Sunday morning just before noon to take her to horseback riding lessons, and the cycle continues. The only exception is in the summer, which is a lot more hectic, but she spends 90% of her summer with me or camping and traveling with my side of the family. She first started getting sick last weekend while she was at her dad's, so if he was going to catch it, he would have already. Bro, that's crazy. Because that's something I was thinking. I was like, well, I guess if it started while she was with her mom, then, like, I guess she would have already had it, and then he doesn't want to be around it, but it's simply not the case. Not at all.
This guy just wants to make your life worse.
Yeah. He's like, actually, I didn't want to say it, but I also got tickets to see Katy Perry. All right, I want to go.
I kissed a girl. I liked it.
I won't spoil it, but she is going to tell us. who she
Okay,
saw.
okay. Let's find out. He insists that I should keep her at my house until she's feeling better. I told him I'd be dropping her off tonight after work, and he called me a selfish witch. Am I the a-hole? And definitely not. But edit to add, since people are asking, the concert is Papa Roach.
Oh, I want to sing it so bad.
You already sang another one.
Slice my existence into parts.
Okay.
This is my final plan.
I did not know that that's who that was. You learn something new every day, but okay, good to know. So maybe he also wants to go see Papa Roach.
Dude, what a throwback. Oh my god. Father Bug. Father Bug.
Bug.
No, I wouldn't say you're I mean, is it selfish to hawk your sick child to their actual father so you can go to a concert? No, not really, because that's also his daughter.
Yeah.
Would it be selfish of you to, like, abandon your child at home alone and be like, you take care of yourself? Yeah,
Right.
that actually be a couple steps further than self. So you're not really making the bad call here, and it's as simple as that.
Exactly. Like, she's being taken care of. You already have a split custody. It's very normal for you to pass her off anyway. I don't know why it's this like one exception of a thing that was planned 6 months ago. Like, they already probably had some sort of plan about like who would be watching her while OP's at the concert.
Yeah, this is not a last minute surprise. I won some tickets on the radio today type event. I've been planning for Papa.
Yeah.
For months. I've been planning to see Father Bug.
Father Bug.
For going on half a year.
Yeah, long time ago. Did you have another edit? I asked my daughter what she wants to do. Her response, I want to go play Minecraft with Dad. Aww. Sounds like a great weekend. Sick weekend playing Minecraft? Dude, stellar time. Stellar time. No, she does not witness our arguments. They're always in text. I made it a condition in our custody agreement that everything regarding our daughter is to be discussed in writing. She knows she's loved and that I would never abandon her if she truly needed me. With a mild cold where she's actively getting better, she does not need me specifically. And there are some comments, but yeah, I think again, like, it's not like she's literally throwing up constantly. We don't know what's wrong with her. We've tried everything. We can't figure it out. She has a little cold.
Yeah, she has not crawled up into the corner of the room with like your head spinning around like It's like she's all right. She's okay.
Good.
She's not possessed.
No.
She's not down with the sickness.
Right.
She is simply
Our TLDR would say otherwise.
It does.
She's just got a little cold.
Got a little cold, all right? And if she's actively getting better, then like she's probably not even contagious anymore. So you just don't know anything about colds. Come on. But we do have some comments here. One comment says, not the a-hole. I can see why y'all are divorced. Opie says, never married. Thankfully, I saw his true colors before we got to that point. And a downvoted commenter says, how many nights will you be gone? If more than one, can you cut the trip a bit short and return early? Do you have a kind sister, mom, or other relative who could care for your child while you are away? You certainly deserve a break, but also thinking of your daughter who will be feeling she's a burden to both parents when she's ill.
Oh, shut up. She said, I want to play Minecraft with dad.
Yeah, she doesn't even know that all this arguing is going on. She's like blissfully unaware, just ready to like make some houses.
Yeah.
That's all. Will your ex prepare her meals and give her meds? Has she been seen by her pediatrician to see if she has the vid or flu or perhaps pneumonia?
Oh my God.
Knowing what ails her might make your ex look at this differently. Yeah, she's literally been taking care of her for like over a week now. We know what's wrong with her.
Who knows? What is he hiding in there? He's got like...
Actual Reagan from The Exorcist.
I was trying to think of something like, I couldn't think of... Is it the puzzle cube? The thing from Razor? He's got a secret. Dang it. Whatever.
He stole the Declaration of Independence.
Yes. Thank God, Carly. That was great.
She needs some sort of ending to this joke.
Yeah.
Someone take care of it.
He has him and Nick Cage are hanging out. He's like, not the beast! I can't. Me and Nikki stole the Declaration of Independence.
If the data finds out, she's gonna ruin everything.
That kid's a snitch, I know
gonna
it.
call the cops.
That commenter finishes up with, let your mama heart guide you in this difficult decision. Probably the only thing that I agree with that commenter on. But Opie says, I'm leaving tonight after dinner and returning home Sunday morning. I don't have other family near me that can watch her, unfortunately. The family she sees in the summer snowbirds down south as soon as the snow hits. Info. Another commenter says, is there a reason why him getting sick would be horrible? Is he the caregiver for an elderly, immunocompromised person, or is he just arguing that your health is less important than his?
Okay, that was actually...
Good question.
That was actually a very good question.
Barring a yes to that, clearly not the a-hole. He just wants to be an absent father. You share custody. That doesn't mean if it involves work or is hard, she goes to mom's. Opie says he is not, nor does he care for anyone immunocompromised. The worst impact this could have is the fact that he works at McDonald's and handles other people's food. But he doesn't work during his custody days. Okay, and this is not during the summer, correct? This is like, we talked about how like the summer custody is different. I'm forgetting exactly like what the difference is there, but during the rest of the year, OP has her during the week and he has her on weekends. This is over a weekend. So this is like normal custody time.
So he's just saying, no, she's sick. Don't bring her over?
Yeah, literally, because he doesn't want to get sick, even though he was already exposed and already was fine.
Stank. Ooh, wipe your butt, dude.
Yeah.
Dang.
What probably happened is like, even though they knew that he would be taking care of her the next weekend, he was like, she's sick. This is my perfect opportunity to go see Papa Roach myself.
This is my perfect opportunity to see the father bug.
Yeah, I can say that I don't want to go sick.
Yes, I want to see Patriarch Insect.
Yes. Yeah. Another commenter named Alex and Carly says he just wants a free weekend. I'd tell him that explicitly since she got sick while with him. Also, why are you telling him your weekend plans? He doesn't need to know what you're doing. And if he needs to reach you, he can use the app or phone. I wouldn't have told your daughter either. Tell her when you return and tell her all about it. When I divorced, I told my ex exactly nothing about my life while the kids were with him. He always asked. OP says, I didn't actually tell him that I was going to a concert. I warned him I'd be out of town only because the 401 traffic can be unpredictable if there's bad weather or a bad accident, and I just wanted him to have heads up in case that traffic made me late for pickup. I did tell my daughter that I was going because I initially asked her if she wanted to come too. Yes, she's a fan of Papa Roach as well. She declined, but she asked me to pick up a tote bag from the merch shop. She is the one who told her dad that I was going to a concert because she was excited about her promised tote bag, lol.
This person is from Toronto. I looked it up, the 401.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's...
Thank you. Thanks for that information.
yeah.
My brain auto-corrected it to 405, and I was like, so they're from here.
That's what I did too at first, and then I was like, wait, no. And that's why I had to immediately look it up.
I see.
I also like that we all went, oh yeah, 405.
Yeah.
Like the highway, they must be from here. Even though that highway's long.
Yeah, right? Just, anywhere along the 405. Another commenter says, not the a-hole. I don't think he likes his daughter much. Does she play Minecraft with daddy, or does she play while daddy watches TV?
No, that's actually why he doesn't want her to come over, because he's like, oh, she gets into my Minecraft server and just freaking ruins all of my perfectly made aesthetic buildings.
Yeah, she makes it better.
Yeah, exactly.
She's always griefing my Minecraft server. She's lighting everything on fire and blowing it up.
And I could have some sympathy if that's the case. I was playing Minecraft recently and I got a great world, gorgeous thing. Riley built a house. I have beautiful house, dock out in the water. My house is on the water, got a little crop field on the water, looking out right onto sunset. And Riley builds this giant cobblestone house right in the middle of where the sunset is, in the distance. I'm like, dude, why is this blocking the sky?
You just built a big gray eyesore.
What's going on? You're bringing down the value of this neighborhood.
I'm about to call my Minecraft HOA on you.
Yeah, I am. But anyway, OP responds. From what she's told me, they do play together. He just likes being the fun parent while I do most of the heavy lifting, physically, emotionally, and financially. And we do have an update from 3 days later.
I bet we got to Papa, didn't we?
I'm assuming that we did.
We brought the child to Papa, and then we brought ourselves to Papa.
Perhaps.
To the child.
To that Papa, and then different Papa.
To literal Papa.
Yeah. I'm following. I got you. Update 3 days later. Friday after work, I dropped my daughter off at her dad's as planned. He answered the door with a smile and hugged our daughter. As soon as she wasn't looking, he gave me a glare.
He gave me an icy glare.
If looks could end your life, I'd be 6 feet under. Before I left, I asked him to update me on her condition in the morning, so if I needed to, I could reschedule her writing lesson. I was very specific that it needed to be before noon, 24-hour notice, or I would be out the money for the missed lesson. I tried to call on Saturday morning to check in, but he wouldn't pick up. Around 5 p.m., I got a text saying to reschedule the lesson. I went to the concert and enjoyed the show. Yes, I wore a mask. Near the end, Father Bug started walking through the crowd, climbing up and down the seats, giving fans hugs, thrashing in the mosh pit. He came right up to me, and I was just frozen in shock.
He came right up to me and he touched me with his little antennas.
Yeah.
And I could tell he knew exactly what my face looked like.
And I said, thank you, Father Bug.
Thank you.
And he said,
thank you, Father Bug. Yep.
That's
what he is.
Because he's a bug.
I picked her up on Sunday morning, and when I gave her the tote bag, her face lit up like a Christmas tree. Context for those who didn't see my comment. When I bought my ticket, I asked my daughter if she wanted to go too. She likes the songs Come Around, Born for Greatness, Renegade Music, Leave a Light On. Her response, I like him, but not that much. So I asked if she wanted a t-shirt or something, and she said, not a t-shirt, but I'll take a tote bag. After getting home, I found out that she didn't spend time at her dad's at all. What? Plot twist.
Where was she then?
Shortly after I dropped her off, he had his mom come pick her up. She only got back to her dad's about an hour before I picked her back up. She said she still had fun watching TV and playing board games, but would have preferred to play Minecraft. And I would prefer if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is more to the story, but, well, no wonder he couldn't answer if she was doing well or not.
Yeah, he didn't even know. He pawned her off. Again, I want to know what he was doing. Where's the Declaration, sir? Sir, give us back the Declaration of Independence.
Please, come on.
Maybe he had just had a date. he had a date, and he's like, she already knows I work at McDonald's. She can't also know that I have like a kid.
Yeah, like I have to lie to her for her to
Yeah,
like me.
come on.
Come on.
How am I supposed to lie to my date if I
Come
my
on.
child? I gotta play Minecraft with my child.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But there is a little bit more to this story. She's still coughing a bit, but she's got her energy and appetite back, and her fever broke before I left. After dinner, we spent the evening playing crib. Thank you to everyone who showed support and gave genuine constructive advice. I did not expect my post to blow up like it did. To everyone who had fun roasting my taste in music, thank you for the much needed laughs. If you would like to continue doing so, I will post a comment of some other artists I listened to on my long drive. I think a few people made some wild assumptions by projecting their own trauma onto my situation. To those people, I hope you find peace. And there are some comments. But yeah, they're like, well, I listen to Papa Roach because I am a terrible mother, so you must be a terrible mother.
I listen to Papa Roach when I'm trying to get my ex sick.
Yeah.
We all know what you really are.
Come on.
You're just a bug lady.
Right. There are some final comments here. OP actually responded to a big comment. Right now, she still enjoys going to her dad's. They play video games together and they go to Beyblade tournaments. What? She's always so proud when she wins versus the adults.
Dude.
Is that still a thing? When was this post made?
Yes.
A Beyblade tournament?
This kid is so cool.
They're just letting it rip every weekend.
That's why he just can't handle it anymore.
He can't.
He keeps getting beat at Beyblade,
Yeah.
and he can't handle it. His ego can't take it anymore.
This
Oh
was
my
like 2
gosh.
months ago.
Ha-
It's December.
I would love to see a Beyblade tournament. That's awesome. But I wouldn't be surprised if she changes her mind down the road. The choice will always be hers to make. Another commenter says, your ex is an a-hole. You should for sure document what happened this weekend. Also, I hope you have your daughter one whole weekend a month so you can have fun time with her that doesn't have to wait till summer. Too often I see the responsible parent end up the not fun house because you do schoolwork and that's about it. OP says, it's not in the agreement, but I do plan things on the weekends for us to do together, like Comic-Con, amusement parks, Broadway shows, etc. Her dad has never refused to give up his weekend when I do. Another commenter says, if we assume X and the daughter were both teenage pregnancies, then the grandmother should be in her 40s. More likely, she's 50 to 60. Thanks for that info.
Yeah, just nice. Batman detective.
Cool. Opie says, I got pregnant my senior year of high school, his freshman year of college, and that's just, I'm just going to leave that over to the side, and gave birth very shortly after graduation. Both our moms are in their early 50s. Cool bit of information there.
Nice.
Thanks for that very important factor.
50-year-old grandma.
Polly Ollie Oxenfree says, we spent the evening playing crib. Are you talking about cribbage? If so, that's awesome. I've never met anyone under 40 who plays cribbage. Opie says, yes, I'm talking about cribbage. My grandparents taught me as soon as I could count, and I did the same with my daughter. She skunks me more often than I'd like to admit, and no, I do not let her win. We play a lot of different card games, but crib and wizard are her faves. And that's the end of that story.
Wizard?
So glad we got some very important information at the very end there.
How does one play wizard? Do you have to have a hat?
You must have hats and you must have a stick.
A wizard's hat and a wizard's staff.
If only Alex didn't take your wand back. You'd be allowed in.
Wow.
It's all right.
We'll go ask him.
I still have the magic in me.
I got magic in me.
I got the magic, baby.
But that's the end of that story. We've got another one coming right up.
And then it turns to go.
Also, was it Kim Fine or was it, I think it might have been Kim Fine that commented earlier talking about Papa Roach and mentioning AITA. AITA, if anyone else remembers that, was a crazy, crazy story that like Sam and John read that was about an imaginary cockroach lady that a man had fallen in love with in his own brain. And it was like every time I
that's a
tell
whole
Maybe
someone
it's like semi-similar to Kafka. A little weird. You
probably
wrote a story about a bug.
I think it probably was, but it was like you guys need to find that story. Like if anyone knows which story that was, please like find which episode that was, because every time I tell someone my job and then they're like, what was the craziest story you read? I always go to that one. Because
Yeah.
it was like this guy was dating this girl and like it was from his perspective too. And he was like, I have been picturing her being this cockroach lady while we have spicy sleep because that's the only way I'm attracted to her.
What?
She, of course, finds out and freaks out. And he's like, I shouldn't have told her. and it gets like so much
Oh my
crazier.
god, yeah, dude, that is an inside thought.
But it gets so
Oh
much
my
worse because then
God.
he's like imagining that they got married and he like goes off on a trip as their honeymoon and then like he works at this like new job and like they're saying that like, or he casually mentions like his wife when was supposed to keep it a secret and everyone is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were married, like tell us all about her. And he tells them all the truth, that it's actually an imaginary cockroach lady. And then all of them are like reporting him to HR because they're like, what? and this whole time he literally like an update was like from 5 years later and he never learned. He was always just like, and all of this would be better if I just didn't tell anyone about AITA. Like it's crazy.
That is crazy. Wow.
Yeah, we might all be mixed up on what the name was,
Yeah,
but that's what I
mine
remember.
is always gonna be the Gaycation. The
Gaycation.
Gaycation story is always the best.
I like Hokey
Pretty
Down.
good one.
Must submit. And I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, right. Go right ahead. But yeah, I'm so glad everyone remembers her because that will truly, I've told that story to so many people. I think some people wish I hadn't, but it's crazy. Like I remember so much from that story. It was
Wild.
It was insane. Like the fact that got me was just that he never was like, oh yeah, maybe this is a problem. He was always just like, I shouldn't be so honest. It's all because of my honesty that everyone is turning away from me. That's all. It was insane. Yeah, what's everyone's like favorite story that we've read on here? I would love to know. We get so many great ones. Could you scroll up a little bit? Actually, I think I saw one before. Thank you. It was like, yeah, Octa was wild. Oh, okay. I don't remember. Okay, maybe I missed it. But it looks like 678 has some good news down there. Right there. Guys, I just have to announce I stopped smoking 1 whole week. Sorry for caps. I'm just really proud. You should be proud of yourself. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good job. And I saw everyone supporting you in the chat. So thank you to everyone else supporting 678. That's great. Good freaking job. Dude, big news, Dakota. 678 has stopped smoking for a whole week. Big news. That's hard to do.
That is hard. That is very hard.
I know,
Congratulations. 678.
Congratulations. Good job.
Good job on your first week. Are you talking about tobacco?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, because you did it. It takes 3 days, and then it's all gone, and all the nicotine's gone. Everything after 3 days is literally all in your head. It's all mental. Any actual physical symptoms of withdrawal end after 3 days, because then it is all gone. So then it becomes a battle of the mind.
You can do it. You can do it. Continue on.
But we're ready whenever.
But we've got another story here for you.
Yeah.
For everybody.
My in-laws banned my daughter's boyfriend from Christmas because they're living in sin.
Oh no, not the sin.
Our daughter and her boyfriend, let's call him Dan, moved in together in August. It was fast. They'd only been together for 6 months, but they're old enough to make that decision and are discussing marriage. How old are they? I fully believe they're going to end up together. Dan had to move away for training this month, so they're going to be long distance for a little while, but plan to live together as soon as they're in the same city again. By the way, this comes from Goofus Maloofus. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah. I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice, Goofly, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. And some of us are just dogs. Anyway, let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, now, my father-in-law can be a lot. He's your typical rich old white guy who's used to getting his way. He and my mother-in-law visited my daughter in November, and for some reason, father-in-law took an unreasonable dislike to Dan. No reason was given, he just doesn't like him. Personally, I think it may be because they moved in together so quickly, and or because Dan is a person of color, our family is white. But father-in-law would never admit it. So here's where it gets sticky. Dan will be spending Christmas with our immediate family at our house. His parents will be away, and he was going to be alone, so of course we invited him to stay with us. As far as we're concerned, he's going to be family, and we treat him as such. Now, my in-laws live about 2 hours away. Typically, we would do an overnight visit at their house for the holidays, and we're planning one when we invited Dan to stay with us. My partner was on the phone with his dad, ironing out the details, and he told his father about Dan staying with us. My partner was very careful to say he understood that it was his parents' decision whether they wanted to include Dan or not. It honestly never occurred to me that they'd leave him out. Well, my father-in-law had a hissy fit, said he didn't want that boy, he's 24, in his house. Didn't discuss it with his wife, who loves Dan, just flat out refused to include him. My partner, and I'm so proud of him for this, told his dad that Dan would be staying with us and would be a part of our holiday plans. He agreed that, of course, his dad had a right to decide who to have in his home, and he wasn't going to push that. He suggested his parents could talk about it separately, like not while on the phone with him, before making any final decisions. Then he suggested that if father-in-law truly didn't want Dan in his house, we could all meet for lunch or dinner halfway between our houses, all including Dan. What? What? I think that's kind of a silly thing to say. It's like, oh, if you don't want him in your house, we can go get dinner. Why wouldn't he come? What? I feel like if someone doesn't want that person in their house, they probably don't want to be around them at all.
Yeah. I feel like suggesting dinner is just like the same. You're still gonna
It's
be
just
around.
the same. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense to me. It did not go over well. My father-in-law immediately became defensive and snapped about how it was his house and his choice, and he didn't need to talk to his wife. His word was final. He's that guy. The hilarious part to me is my in-laws are devout Christians. So much for the season of love and acceptance, right? Anyway, my dilemma is how to address this with our daughter and Dan. I'm furious and disgusted with my father-in-law's behavior, and if it were up to me, I'd tell her exactly what her grandfather said, and that he told us Dan isn't welcome. But my partner said he'd rather just tell our daughter the overnight visit didn't work out, so she doesn't get mad at her grandparents. I disagree. She should be mad at her grandparents.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if your grandparents are acting whack, you should be like, hey, grandpa, you're being sucky. Stop.
Stop living in sin, Grandpa.
Yeah. No, I think that's ridiculous. I think that you should tell her.
Yeah.
I think she should know the truth and get mad if she wants to. I know I am. So my question is this. How would you address it with your daughter? Personally, I don't care if she gets angry because of the truth. But these aren't my parents, and I want to respect my partner as well. What would you do? Edit. Holy crap, this got bigger than I expected. I'm reading every comment and will respond as much as I can. And my partner and I are married. I just tend to call them my partner instead of husband. Also, I should add that my father-in-law does refer to my brother-in-law as that boy as well, and my brother-in-law is white. That's part of why I'm not sure father-in-law's dislike of Dan is race-related. Edit 3 because it's coming up a lot. We aren't going to the in-laws even if father-in-law changes his mind. Lunch is still being debated. Comments, virtual choir boy. If she's adult enough to live with Dan, she's adult enough to hear the truth about what her grandfather said. Added bonus is that it means she'll be better prepared for any additional fallout from father-in-law if they proceed to an engagement and or eventual wedding. Don't embellish anything, just present the truth. Father-in-law has indicated he doesn't want Dan to join the family for Christmas. That means that you're not going to father-in-law's house for the day and are trying to arrange a lunch or dinner meetup somewhere in between both homes. Once a decision has been made, you'll give your daughter and Dan an update. And there is an update.
I say we just get into it.
Let's get into
Yeah.
it. I've gotten a lot more responses to my first post than I expected. Since my original post, I've had several conversations with my husband, none of which have gone well. That's not good. I've explained I'm not comfortable with the lie of omission, only telling our daughter the date didn't work out, and feel she should be told to ask her grandfather why we won't be going. I don't like that either, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think that she should have to go through the whole thing of asking her grandfather and then having to deal with that whole, just insulting rant or demeaning language from him
Yeah,
about...
I feel like it's not going to be good.
Yeah, like she has to deal with that whole conversation where he's just going to be aggressive with her. I
Yeah.
feel like just tell her, and then she can decide whether or not she wants to have a conversation with
Instead
her
of making
grandfather.
her go through like a
Sending her in blind.
traumatic thing.
She's like, Grandpa, what's this about? And he's like, well, I hate your boyfriend.
No reason in particular.
Yep, he
just
just
do.
sucks. My husband still disagrees. He maintains that he's protecting her. I'm still arguing that he's protecting his father and therefore rewarding his behavior. He argues that my in-laws missing our overnight visit is the consequence. I finally told him I won't be lying to our daughter. If she asks me why we aren't going, I'm going to tell her she needs to talk to her grandfather about that. He can explain his decision to her. Well, I want to simply tell her, father-in-law said Dan isn't welcome. I'm not doing his dirty work for him. Frankly, I'm going to make sure she asks me because I'm not okay with her and Dan attending a lunch with someone who doesn't approve of Dan. It doesn't matter what my father-in-law's reasoning is. She has a right to know, and he has a responsibility to tell her himself. She can then make an informed decision about whether they want to attend. Well, but she wouldn't be attending because he said Dan can't come.
Yeah. But she said if he's not going, then I'm not.
And even more honestly, if they don't go, I don't go. She needs to know I back her unreservedly. Right now, things at home are icy between husband and I have no idea how this will turn out. I'll update again once there's more info. And there are some comments. I think you're in the right here, OP, except I think you should go one step further and actually tell her what's going on. And I think that your dad or your husband is trying to save the relationship between his daughter and his dad. Because, even if you have issues with your parents, a lot of people don't want to cut them off completely. A lot of people just end up kind of accepting those faults and those, more difficult parts of their parents. And I'm sure he doesn't want to just completely blow up that relationship between his daughter and his dad. However, she has a right to know.
Yeah.
She gotta know. Stop, look, listen, decide says if she is old enough to have a live-in boyfriend, she is old enough to be told. If they remain together or married, is dad just gonna keep making excuses and lies of omission? That's not gonna work. Cursed818 says you're right that your husband is protecting his father rather than his daughter. And that is going to be a much bigger long-term problem. It's possible that your husband privately agrees with his father, which is why he's protecting him. You need to get to the bottom of why your husband is taking this line. If it turns out that he's secretly discriminatory, that's going to have massive ramifications for your marriage and family. Don't wait for your daughter to ask. She's a grown-up. She can handle hearing about who her grandfather really is. Give her the respect of telling her outright what has been going on. Let the chips fall where they may for your husband and his father. ADKVT says lying to your children is a red flag, barring doing it for their safety or something. Your husband should recognize that if he needs to lie to his child, something is inherently wrong with the information he's seeking to hide. Update 2. Well, here we go again. I haven't had a chance to talk to my daughter yet. We were supposed to chat yesterday, but we weren't able to, so that conversation is on hold. I did, however, talk to my husband again. We got a lot deeper into his thinking on what's happening, and I have to say I was surprised. He's more upset than I thought he was about this situation. He was very angry at his father. The fact that my father-in-law apparently rejected Dan for no good reason infuriates him. He confirmed he, my husband himself, likes Dan and didn't understand why his father was acting this way. So no, my husband doesn't share his father's views. My husband talked about how hard it's been all his life to have to be the mediator in his family. As many suspected, this is a role he's played for a long time. It's always been his job to pat things down between his parents, between his siblings and parents, even between his parents and I. My husband's family is extremely conflict avoidant, and somehow he took on the responsibility for keeping it to a minimum between family members. He hates it, but says he feels stuck. I knew this about them, but didn't realize just how bad it was. So we talked about it, and I think both of us felt better afterwards. But that's not the real update. It's just all fake update.
That was just the update before the update.
A little amuse-bouche update. Apparently, after our last conversation, he did talk to his dad again. I know a bunch of you are waiting in the wings to scream, father-in-law's prejudiced. And I'm sorry to disappoint, but that isn't the problem. Why are you... Not a disappointment. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry
very
to
glad that he's
disappoint you,
not.
but
Yeah,
not racist.
he's not. He's not. Ugh.
sorry.
And no, Dan, our daughter's boyfriend, isn't a con man and didn't say anything unforgivable. My father-in-law is just a grumpy old man who thinks young people shouldn't be living in sin. That's a direct quote. Now, before anyone suggests father-in-law is lying, because I thought that too, my husband did ask his dad directly if the fact that Dan is a person of color had anything to do with father-in-law's dislike. When I suggested this as a possibility to my husband, he didn't think so, but wasn't 100% sure. Well, apparently my father-in-law was horrified. He asked my husband if he'd said or done anything to give us or Dan that idea. That's so funny. That's so funny. He's like, oh my God, no. I hate Dan, but not because he's not white. Just because I hate him.
No, he has bad taste in music.
He's just, he likes terrible bands.
He likes jazz.
He
the
likes
devil music.
jazz.
Sinful music.
No,
Sin.
He should like classics like Johnny Cash.
And Mozart.
Mozart. Everyone loves Mozart, but Dan, he hates Mozart. But that's not because he's a person of color. And when we talked about it after their conversation yesterday, frankly, neither of us could come up with anything specific other than the boy comment. That father-in-law didn't want that boy to come for Christmas. As I said in my other posts, that was my suspicion, and I take full responsibility for it. In my head, I put too much emphasis on father-in-law calling Dan that boy, assuming it was discriminatory. As I said in both my other posts, my father-in-law refers to my white brother-in-law as that boy as well. So I'm the one who added that meaning, and I'm the one who suggested it to my husband. I feel awful. Again, I don't think you need to feel awful.
Yeah, it was a reasonable response.
Yeah.
And I feel like anyone with mind would also
Yeah.
be like, old man, young person of color.
Like most old people are a little bit.
Yeah, that's just
a little
they
bit
just
discriminatory.
grew up like that, and
Yeah.
sometimes they don't think they should get with the times.
Yeah, and even if they aren't necessarily, discriminatory, they probably will say things that aren't necessarily the most PC.
Yes.
It's generational. And you kind of have to call them out on it and be like, hey, you can't say that. Yeah, you can't say that word anymore.
Don't do it.
And I apologize if I misled anyone. That was never my intention. I really did think my father-in-law could be a bigot. I'm ashamed to be honest because it was one stupid sentence in almost 30 years of knowing him. Okay. We don't need to let him off the hook entirely. Like he was still saying, oh, I can't have Dan over because they're going to live in sin. Like he's still being a little bit, not great.
Yeah.
I made a mistake and I've apologized to my husband. And yes, I'll apologize to my father-in-law. While they were talking, my father-in-law actually offered to speak directly to Dan and our daughter if they thought this. And my husband explained that no, we were the ones who suspected his issue could be racially motivated. That would be so funny. He goes to Opie's daughter. And he goes, now, let's name her. What's her name?
Stacy.
Stacy, it's your peepaw here. I don't like
Aw.
Dan, but not because he's a person of color. It's because I think you guys are going to because you're living together, okay? I love him. I'd love him if he were white. I'd love him if he were black. But I don't love you guys living together. And you're going to one way or another, but not because you're black.
Not because the color of your skin, but the color of your minds.
And the color of that apartment that you're renting together.
That bright red doesn't work.
It
with
just
your eyes,
doesn't
darling.
work, but it sure would work in an apartment.
I look like
I think that's a perfect
madman.
conversation.
Ugh.
His dad is understandably angry that we could think that of him, and I have damage control to do. I'll be calling my father-in-law today to apologize for that and talk about what's happening. But back to the reason father-in-law doesn't want Dan in his house for Christmas. He doesn't approve of Dan and our daughter living together. He says they're too young, it was too fast, and since they aren't even engaged, it isn't appropriate. As I've said before, my in-laws are devout Christians, so the living in sin aspect is very real to them. I swear the man is still living in the 60s, but that's his main issue. As an extension of that, he thinks they moved in together too quickly. I can see why he'd think that. They've only dated for 6 months before, but they've been together for a year now and are talking about marriage. My daughter says it will happen. They're just waiting until they're both finished with their training. Well, Dan was paying his own way with his savings while he waited for his full-time vocational training to start. Dan's actually moved for that, so he and our daughter will be long distance until he starts his very secure full-time job. Father-in-law didn't know that either. So, does he approve of Dan now? No. He's still got a stick up his nether regions that they were living together before marriage. Is he now willing to host Dan for the overnight visit? No. He still disapproves of their
Wow.
choices. Is he a discriminatory knucklehead? Also no. Just an old-fashioned 80-year-old who doesn't understand the world has changed. That's where we stand. We still aren't going to the in-laws for Christmas. Dan still isn't welcome at my in-laws, but now we know why. And what are we going to say to our daughter? The truth. That her grandfather isn't comfortable having Dan stay overnight when they aren't engaged. That it's his house, and we have to respect that. But, couldn't they just stay in separate rooms?
Yeah. I feel like that would, help the situation.
Yeah.
He could still come.
Yeah, you just can't stay in the same room
Yeah.
as his granddaughter.
Just one can sleep upstairs, one can sleep downstairs type of situation. I don't know. I just feel like there is a clearer solution.
Yeah.
I feel, but who knows? I don't know.
That we're going to try to meet for lunch instead, and she and Dan are welcome to join us, and we'll let them decide. I'll be suggesting she talk to her grandfather directly. Update 3. First, the conversation with my father-in-law. It was short and mostly cordial. I apologize for assuming his boy comment meant he had an issue with a person of color dating his granddaughter. I explained that the term is often considered a slur against people of color, hence my reaction. Well, it's just very demeaning. He grudgingly accepted my apology. He pointed out that that's what he called my brother-in-law too, who incidentally is white. And he didn't think it meant anything other than a male younger than himself. As a few people suggested, I pointed out that even if he didn't intend it to be an insult, it still was one. He sounded surprised and asked if I thought my brother-in-law was offended when he called him that. I asked if he'd ever called brother-in-law that to his face, and he went very quiet. So I pointed out that if father-in-law didn't think it was an insult, why didn't he openly call brother-in-law that? He sort of harumphed and muttered something about how people are too sensitive. Dude, you're literally getting all up in arms about two people sleeping over in your house.
Yeah.
Pretty sensitive.
I don't know. Just yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he got it. We
Yeah.
moved on. I then asked if Dan was welcome in his house at all or just not overnight. That really seemed to surprise him because he said of course Dan could visit, just not sleep over. So that was a relief. He then said that we jumped to suggesting a lunch so quickly he didn't have a chance to suggest we just visit for the day, talk about miscommunication. So the call ended with us agreeing that this year meeting in a neutral restaurant was for the best, and we plan better for next year. If Dan's still around, he felt the need to add. But he ended the call by saying he missed us and was looking forward to lunch. So all good there. Then the talk with our daughter. She brought up the visit herself and asked when we were going to her grandparents. Her dad and I had agreed on our response, which was we were going to meet halfway for lunch instead. She was disappointed and asked why. As gently as possible, I told her not everyone is comfortable with having someone they don't know very well staying in their home. Before I could say anything else about my father-in-law's reaction, she made me laugh by asking if Grandpa still had a stick up his butt about her and Dan living together. Everyone who said she already knew was spot on. Then we had a bit of a giggle about old-fashioned values and how not everyone thinks the way we do. We talked about how people react when a relationship moves so fast. Her father's and mine did too, and that attitudes change in time and that Grandpa just didn't know Dan yet. I let her know I wasn't invited to sleep over until her dad and I were engaged either. That helped. She laughed and said at least her grandfather is consistent. Then I reminded her that her dad and I support her and them 100%, and she said she knew that. And that was about it. By the way, I would support that you guys listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I mean, I just think, I mean, it's just like old-fashioned values, whatever. Like, if the grandpa's not comfortable, it's his house, whatever. You can't really do much.
No.
So
I think it's fine.
It's whatever. And, if it ends up being a thing, then yeah. Then, like, maybe, down the line when you are engaged or married or whatever, then yeah, cool. But I guess just for right now, follow Peepaw's rules.
Yeah. My grandpa's like that, but he never really said much about my, because, like, I think all of my dad and, like, his siblings, were living with most of them were living with their partners before marriage and stuff. My grandpa was like, well, I didn't agree with it, but it's their life. Which I think is a pretty good way to go about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people will be disappointed that there wasn't a big explosive confrontation where we cut father-in-law out of our lives because he's a secret member of a white supremacist group. But that's just not what happened. There was a misunderstanding, a miscommunication, and some judgmental attitudes from both my father-in-law and I. We're still going to see my in-laws, and Dan will be coming. It just won't be overnight. And things are okay with us and our daughter and with us and our father-in-law. As to father-in-law's relationship with our daughter, we're leaving it to them. This will be the final update because the issue is basically resolved. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And that is the end of that story. Great ending. Everything's fixed.
It just
Hallelujah.
I feel like it was just blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like they assumed a
They
lot
did.
of things, and then it was like, oh, wait, actually,
My
it's
bad.
this. And they're
It's
like,
just
oh.
it's just the living in sin stuff.
Okay, well, that makes it. I get the sin part. I didn't get the person of color.
It's like I can excuse have you like the Community quote?
Maybe.
It's like I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal
And
cruelty.
then they go, you can excuse racism.
Yeah. But it's replace that with living in sin.
What's that with living in sin?
I refused to take care of my granddaughter without a payment.
Give me that money.
My daughter decided to get married a year after finishing high school. I can tell you weren't very happy about it just from the way you started this.
Not a lot of people would be.
My husband and I did not understand that decision, but she was totally convinced, and so was her husband. By the way, this comes from user Throwaway Sambucci. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice, but we're goofy, so it's not always going to be right. Right? If
Yeah.
you think you know what's up, tell us, please. Please tell us in the comments. Anyway, my daughter became a housewife by her own decision and got pregnant soon after. Since her husband works, she spent a lot of the pregnancy at my house, which did not seem like a problem to me. Then my granddaughter was born and she kept coming often, which still didn't seem like a problem. But then she started leaving me and with her baby for longer periods and got upset when I told her I couldn't take care of her. I understand that being a mother is difficult. I raised 4 children, but that does not mean that everyone should be at my feet because of a decision I made. My daughter started asking me on the weekends to babysit because she and her husband wanted to go out. I agreed for about 3 weeks until my husband and I had our own plans. My daughter went crazy and called me to tell me that I should be more empathetic because she is a mother and never leaves the house. I felt bad that day, so my husband and I decided to babysit on the weekends. To be honest, we are tired. We love our children, yes, but our plan at this age was to get back to being just us and go on dates together. We even had to delay our vacation because of our daughter. We adore our daughter, but she is now an adult, and we do not want to raise any more children. We have other grandchildren we love as well, but we have never had this problem with my other children. Not to mention, my granddaughter is now older and more active. Caring for a newborn is one thing, but it is totally different chasing a baby who has already learned to crawl. My husband has a limp, walk with a limp, And I have a hard time bending over, so it is difficult for us to take care of the baby. I talked to my daughter about this, and she complained, saying, it's only 2 days a week. To make a point, I said, okay, then pay us like you pay the babysitter. She hired a babysitter a few weeks ago. I told her that I feel she only uses me as a free babysitter, because lately, she only comes to make me take care of the baby.
Aw, that sucks.
Just so transparently being like, you are my child care, and I'm entitled to this because you are my mom.
Yeah. Whenever my grandma would take care of us, we'd always be at her house hanging out, doing stuff, eating, chilling out. It wasn't just, you take care, baby.
I wonder what the curve is for like the most difficult time to take care of kids. I feel like it like
Toddlers.
goes up and then comes back down once they can like take care of themselves, and then it
it's-
goes back up again when they're teenagers and they can do really illegal things.
It's just, you always have problems, I guess the severity of problems. I feel like at 3, they can run and walk, but they also know how to off themselves while running and walking, so you have to make sure they don't do that. Then they get some common sense. So I think that's when you have to keep your eyes on them the most.
Yeah,
When they're
they
walking
call it the terrible twos for a reason.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm like, you only use me to take care of the baby. That is when my daughter went crazy. Totally offended. Although it is the truth, she does not even come to dinner or visit me. I feel used. According to her, it is horrible of me to want to charge her to take care of her own daughter, which made me wonder if she's right. No, my husband and I did not have anyone's help raising our children. I don't know why so many young people believe life used to be easy.
Well,
All right, I'm going to stop you right there.
it kind of was easier in a way.
There was once upon a time in this country,
Where?
you could be a married couple and one income from like a job as a janitor would be enough to buy a house.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. All right.
You can't.
Years ago, in my country, it was even frowned upon for a mother to leave her child in childcare and go to work. Now, it's not easy to be a parent either, and never was. Am I the a-hole? And there's an update from 8 days later.
I'll be for real. I get your angle, but asking to receive payment to watch your own granddaughter does seem like an a-hole-ish remark. I feel like a better way to go around it and about it would have been, I'm going to take a step back from watching the kid, not receiving payment.
I don't know. I think that was mostly just to like, you know, get them to understand like, yeah, what you're asking us is something that is like, you know, not necessarily just easy because we've already raised you guys. We're old. We're old as dirt now. And it's hard to keep up with a baby.
Yeah.
But we have an update from 8 days later. While I was thinking about it, one of my daughter-in-laws called to invite us to spend a summer at their house. She and my son live outside the country. Years ago, they invited me and my husband there. They have a house with more rooms, so they want the children to spend some time with us too. I felt hesitant, but my husband told me it would be good for us and our other grandchildren to spend time with them. The little ones usually make video calls to us every day. So we finally decided to buy our tickets. Before continuing, I want to talk a little bit about my daughter. She is a quote-unquote menopausal baby. I was sure that I couldn't have any more children,
Oh.
and then she was born. But I felt happy anyway.
Yeah, let's go.
I always liked kids, and we had a good economy for another one. She is younger than her other siblings, so I have to admit that my husband and I made the mistake of being too soft with her. She basically grew up as an only child in the house, so she was pampered by parents and siblings and always the center of attention. My children were never babysitters for their siblings. I always hated that because my mother made me take care of my younger siblings, and I never wanted to repeat that. At the time of her marriage, I sat her down and told her that being a housewife is not easy, and neither is being a mother. I explained that the baby would be raised by her parents, and I wanted to make sure she knew the reality and was totally convinced she wanted that life. She assured me she was mature and knew what was to come, so I felt calm and trusted in that maturity. She grew up with me as her example of a mother, doing everything for herself while my husband worked. Now we're in a situation where my daughter hates not being able to go out with her husband like they did before because the baby gets sick or cries or misses them. My poor husband told our daughter about the 2-month trip we'll be making, believing she would be happy. But she instantly called me, totally angry, to tell me that in February, she has a wedding and needs me to take care of the baby.
What about your other siblings?
You know what? It just sounds to me like the baby's got a wedding to go to.
Yeah. Just buy the baby a dress or a suit.
Yeah, a little baby suit. Buy the baby a little suit and a little baby cigar.
Boom. It's like an adult at that point.
I told her she can afford a babysitter, and she said something that made me angry. Quote, why pay for a babysitter if I have you for free? You don't do anything.
Oh.
Yikes. That's crazy.
No, we don't say that to our moms. Yikes. Okay, well, now we really see how you view me.
Yeah, that's crazy that she said you don't do anything when she just found out that you are doing a 2-month trip. You're
that
doing
seems like
something.
Yeah.
She went on to talk about how my husband and I don't do anything, so it's our responsibility to take care of the baby so her family does not break. That's some crazy logic. I would love to be a fairy tale mother, but I told her that my husband and I worked our whole lives and now we deserve a break. She and her husband must learn to live for themselves because in a moment, I won't be there anymore. I told my daughter that if she wants to visit with her granddaughter, she is totally welcome, but I want to see her as a grandmother, not as a babysitter. I also informed her that from now on, she must inform me a week in advance if she wants me to take care of the baby, and I will tell her if I have time. I'm tired of feeling like she only uses me to take care of the baby when she doesn't even come to visit or have tea like the other kids do. Fair enough. All of this is totally fair.
Yeah, the alignment of expectations is not clear with your youngest or with you, I would say. We got to clear this up.
We definitely need some like hard boundaries. Like I think that week is like having that week advance is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect. You say, give me a week's notice. That way, if I tell you I can't do it, you can find other arrangements. Simple as that.
Boom.
Now she is angry, but I feel relaxed and liberated. I received a lot of comments and DMs from young parents saying that I should take care of my granddaughter so her parents can go out. I am very sorry, but I will give you some advice that in my time, no one gave. Think carefully before having children. Nobody gave you that advice? They were just like, yeah, no, just have a kid. Don't think about it at all. Just do it.
We got to put some thought into it. I don't know if my parents even thought about having kids when they had when the little ones, like the 13 to 12-year-old guys.
They was just like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah, they were like, oh, well. They were so irresponsible. They were so young.
They
our
were like,
parents.
if we had the one and we were so irresponsible, that one worked out, we can have more.
Yeah, right. Those guys.
Okay. Do not keep having children like rabbits if you already feel like you can't breathe with one. You do not need to reproduce 5 times in less than 8 years. Having a child will completely change your life, and all your days will be surrounded by that life. I love being a mother, but it's not something for everyone. You must think carefully before having children and not romanticize motherhood. I also did not understand the concept of the village. In my country, if you had a child, you were on your own. Did I love raising my children? Yes. But before, it was totally unacceptable for a mother to have her own hobbies or do something other than take care of her children 24/7. Luckily, now there are daycare centers and things have changed. Mothers used to have 7 children or more. They did not have time to raise their grandchildren, and in very few cases did they. At least in my culture, people were very ignorant and had children just because it was normal for 7 kids to sleep in 2 rooms, which is obviously not right.
Oh, my gosh. Were they farming after that? Like, what were they doing? Like, why are we...
That is, I mean, back in the day, that is why people had so many kids.
That's
Yeah.
why my great-grandpa George had a lot of kids. Isn't
Yeah.
that why some of your family had a lot of kids too, Vincent?
Yeah, my dad's one of 14, and yeah, they're on a farm.
Yep. Checks
Mhm.
out.
Yep, you got to go out and work those fields as soon as your back is strong enough.
Yeah.
By the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever. Just search OK Storytime. We've got a little bit more story left here. I think this grandma is totally in the right. It's like, if it were different and it was like, I think the main thing is that her daughter is like just treating her like childcare. It's like she's not coming
Yeah.
over and just
no
like spending
relationship.
time together. It's just like, oh, do this thing. I expect you to do this thing for
And
me.
she said that. Why would I get a babysitter when you're free?
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
Let's finish this one. To answer one last thing, quote, then you'll want her to take care of you when you get older. I do not. I did not have children with the idea of having a caregiver. If that's your idea of motherhood, you should rethink it. In most cultures, there's always been misogyny where the man's family is cared for while the mother's family is expected to be the caregivers. Is that so?
Depending on the
Yeah, I
culture,
guess
I'd say.
no. Yeah, culture to culture. Even today, all the responsibility falls on the woman. The new generation makes the mistake of believing that the past was easy when many of us had to live through wars, dictatorships, and economic crises. Do not romanticize a past you never lived. Many women used to only be able to choose to be a mother, and that was it. At least in my culture, women needed to be 24/7 with their children, and if they were not, they were seen as a bad mother. Finally, that's changed. If we want to play at which generation suffered the most, we could talk about the generation of a certain man with a mustache. Merry Christmas.
Okay, so these are. I'm saying that they're in Germany. I got
Yeah.
that vibe way early on.
I don't know. Yeah, that does feel pretty German, doesn't it? But that is the end of that story.
My mother-in-law tried to exclude my daughter, so I left and booked a hotel.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
My husband and I are currently at my in-laws' house in Houston for the holidays. We live in Atlanta, but we are here to see them for Christmas. Everything had been mostly fine until today, and now I feel completely unsettled. By the way, this comes from Posting for Advice, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
I'm Angie.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, just a bit of context, so my reaction doesn't seem over the top. My mother-in-law always wanted a grandson, and she used to say she was praying for one early in my pregnancy with my daughter. My husband and I didn't care. We just wanted our baby to be happy and healthy. After we had her, she kept pushing for us to have another child. My son is now 4 months old, and my 2-year-old daughter is such a loving big sister to him. My mother-in-law's behavior toward them has definitely been partial. From the number of Christmas presents she gave to the amount of time and affection she shows, those things are her choice, so I didn't say anything, even though it bothered me. I disagree with that. I don't think that is her choice. I mean, yeah, like she chooses to make that decision, but I think as a parent, you have to step in and say, no, that's unacceptable. You either give them the same amount of love or you're not
Right.
going to be around them.
Yeah, I think that's well within the range of something you could say.
Because I think once they grow, just like naturally, different types of bonds can occur. And that is fine.
Yeah.
However, I think when they're kids, you can't be given a 2-month-old more presents than a 4-year-old. That's just not okay. Or a 2-year-old.
The kids will notice that immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. If she hasn't already noticed. Today, my mother-in-law and I were with my son while my husband was cuddling with our daughter. They have a very close bond, and she is really a daddy's girl. My mother-in-law suddenly snapped at him and told him to forget about our daughter for a bit and give his attention to our son who needs it more.
Oh.
Their son is 4 months old.
Oh, boy.
Their son is a full 4 months old.
Yeah. Like,
Unless he's crying,
right.
he's chill.
Yeah.
She said this directly in front of our daughter, who immediately went quiet and looked confused and hurt. My son already had 2 adults with him and did not need my husband to pull his attention away from our daughter at the moment. I said as much, but my mother-in-law insisted that we are spoiling our daughter to the detriment of our son. She said he needs more attention and that we need to start enforcing boundaries with our daughter, again, all in front of her. I completely lost it. I picked up both my kids and went upstairs to my husband's old bedroom where we were staying. A few minutes later, my husband came up, apologized for his mom, hugged our daughter, and told her that Granny was just having a bad day and that she loves her very much and not to take it to heart. I told him I was seriously considering booking a hotel for the rest of our stay, which is until Saturday. He said that would only make things worse and asked me to let him talk to his mom and fix it. I think you should get that hotel.
Yeah, I think I could see how it could make things worse. So maybe he can try talking to her first. But, I mean, for the sake of your kids, not a terrible idea.
I just wouldn't want to even risk mother-in-law saying something like that in front of the daughter again. Or something worse.
Totally.
He then went back downstairs, but I am still considering leaving. I don't know if that would be impulsive or if it would make me an a-hole. Adding this now for more context, my husband told me that he impressed upon his mom that what she said and did would distance us from her if it continued and that things should go smoother from here. He also said that me leaving with the kids would make our daughter feel like she caused the situation, which wouldn't be fair to her. That is fair. I really don't think, I don't know. I mean, yes, 2-year-olds can pick up on a lot of stuff, but I feel like
Mhm.
if you worded it in a certain way,
Yeah.
I feel like you could get away with it with the 2-year-old.
It's I feel like it's possible
Yeah.
for sure.
I asked him what exactly his mom said in response to him setting boundaries. He said she understood what he was saying, but when I pressed and asked what she actually said, he became evasive. I don't trust this.
Yeah.
I think she says something nasty.
Yeah.
After reading some comments, I honestly feel that I would much rather go back to Atlanta than stay in a hotel here in Houston, and I need to see if that is possible. He asked me to come back downstairs with the kids, but I told him I wasn't ready. He ended up taking our daughter out with him to help her feel better. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments, but what do you think?
I mean, not really, because if you
No.
can figure out this problem with your husband and with his mom, then that would be great, but in the meantime, if you can't, and if he's not even communicating to you what she's actually saying, just
Yeah.
to kind of try to keep the peace, then like I mean the reason you're doing it is for the kids,
Yeah.
right? And so if you're trying to shelter them from what their grandmother is saying about them, then like yeah, just get them out of there. It's not really about the peace between you and your mother-in-law at this point. It's about the kids.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Comments. Mammoth Suit says, please keep your babies away from this woman. It will only get worse, and it could affect the relationship between the siblings. The sibling relationship is the more important one. It will last long after the grand and parents are gone. Your mother-in-law will destroy their relationship by favoring one and teaching your son he is somehow more important than your daughter. Use Clock says OP and the husband should be thinking about what Granny has said and will say to the daughter when they aren't around. And worse, the daughter will think she not only has to keep those awful things secret because her dad would be upset with her otherwise, but she probably won't see that as the mistreatment it is. Criminy! The kids too, and she's already in for a world of hurt. Fry One Fat Manic says husband also needs to be honest about what his mother actually said. Hiding this from his wife isn't going to smooth things over. Mrs. Flying Panda says not the a-hole. What if you were not there to witness? What will your husband do? Also, I feel like this kind of treatment will just get worse as your kids get older, unless mother-in-law changes. Your son will end up getting treated like a golden child by your mother-in-law. Opie says, I hadn't thought of what my daughter might have heard from her in my absence. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. We live far away, so there's not that much interaction, but there definitely have been times when I'm not there and it's just the two of them. It makes me sick to think of. Spill That Tea to Me says, absolutely not. He has already started sweeping it under the rug. He told your daughter that his mother didn't mean it. She absolutely meant it. She has no shame about what she just did. The only way she might stop is if there are consequences right now. Go get that hotel and maybe you can salvage a relationship with her. Maybe. OP says, this is going to sound like weaponized incompetence because I'm a grown woman with kids, but I don't want to have to stay in a hotel in Houston for days without him. If I go, I'm going to need him to come with us. And there is an update. I don't think that's weaponized incompetence. I think you have a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old and
Yeah.
you want his help.
Yeah, it's a pretty big task, especially
Yeah.
if you're still staying there for a while. Like,
Yeah.
you're supposed to leave like next Saturday. I don't know what day it is when she's writing that, but you're
Yeah.
still staying there for multiple days. You can't.
Mhm.
It would be very hard to single parent a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old for several days.
Yeah.
alone.
No, I think I would be having a pretty not strongly worded, but like a pretty heavy conversation with husband
Yeah.
about the relationship going forward with mother-in-law
Yeah.
and what needs to be done now.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and you could also talk to your 2-year-old and say like, "Hey," I mean, it's kind of hard, but to get much information out, but you can kind
Sure.
of see if there's any, how she's feeling about.
Totally.
Honestly, I was avoiding it initially because I had gone against the advice given. My daughter and husband had come back last night with him, showing her around the area. My daughter was happy, and my husband said he had made it clear to his mom that the favoritism wouldn't stand, so I chose to stay. This morning, my mother-in-law was extra sweet to my daughter, showing her stuff around the house and kitchen. It seemed a bit fake, syrupy sweetness to me, but I thought, okay, maybe I'm cynical. She's trying, and my daughter can't tell, so it's all good. And the morning went fine. But after lunch, when we were in the living room, she was telling my daughter her responsibilities as an older sister, that her brother is a baby and younger than her, and she needs to be a big girl and make sure he's happy.
Oh gosh.
It maybe doesn't sound bad in words, but the tone was one of a lecture.
Oh wow.
So I just said, Jazzy is a baby too, and tickled her to make her laugh and just kind of put her at ease and diffuse the tension of the lecture. At this, my mother-in-law said she's just fulfilling her right and responsibility by educating my daughter, that she's her dad's mom and she earned the right to educate her grandkids. No, no. Again, in front of her. That was it for me. Maybe in isolation it wouldn't have, but considering yesterday I told my daughter we'll play with her toys in the room and took her and my son up. I called my husband and told him what had happened. He kept asking how she said it and the setting. And I was just like, you know I planned to give her an honest chance this morning, otherwise I would have done all this yesterday. And to trust me when I'm saying she crossed a line. I told him I'm changing our flights to catch the earliest one out. I need him to come with us or he has to tell our daughter why daddy isn't coming back home with us. He said he'll come too and sort out the flight. I told him I just want the earliest one, whatever it is, and told him to come back. He's out with his friends today. He told me later we fly out early tomorrow morning now. The last flight today was like 2 hours from our call, so it wouldn't be enough time. And he'll be here soon. I'm just packing our stuff up now. I went downstairs a few times to grab some of our stuff. She tried talking to me to tell me to calm down. I just told her he'll talk to her when he comes. I should have listened and just done this yesterday. I deserve any incoming criticism. I'm so angry with myself too. My daughter has had to be in an uncomfortable position twice rather than once because of that. I don't think you did anything wrong. I think you wanted to give this person the benefit of the doubt, especially because your husband said, can we just give her a chance?
Yeah.
And then she proved that she doesn't, deserve one.
Right. You kind of did give her that chance.
Yeah.
And then she didn't do it very well at all.
And we could have celebrated New Year's Eve in Atlanta instead of here. Thank you all for the advice. I appreciate it so much. Update 2. We're at the airport now, waiting for boarding. I thought I'd give my last update now, since I'm going to be really tired back at home. When my husband spoke to her, I have to admit that I eavesdropped. I don't know if that makes me an a-hole, but it is what it is. I mean, to be honest, last time your husband spoke to his mom, he didn't tell you the full truth, so. It concerned my daughter, so I feel it was okay for me to do it, and if it was super private, they shouldn't have been doing it in the living room. He was really disappointed with his mom, saying they'd gone over this yesterday, that she'd given him her word to drop the favoritism. By the way, you would be my favorite if you listened to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
We're not dropping the favoritism.
But there is a little bit left. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, this is just, I could see people jumping to divorce and saying, like, you have a husband problem, but I don't know if I would go there yet.
I don't think we're there yet.
This problem definitely sucks, and I think you and your husband are having some disagreements, I guess, on how things should work in this situation. But I do have hope that, like, this can improve eventually.
Well, I mean, he did, you said, hey, I'm leaving and you better come with. And he did, drop everything to go book the flights and leave with you. So
that's great.
Which is not, might seem like the bare minimum, but is not what everyone does in these types of situations.
Yeah, and I wonder what kind of conversation you guys can have about, like, it's not me versus you, it's us versus the problem kind of thing. Like, I wonder if, because he has talked to her about the favoritism stuff, but he just, I guess, maybe isn't as offended when it still happens, or at least is a little more scared to set those boundaries with his moms.
Address it.
Yeah, something like that. So I wonder what kind of conversation you guys can have to just, like, refocus and, like, be a team in this,
Yeah, because I guess I'm just wondering, like, how many chances do you give her,
Yeah.
Like, is this low no contact? Or is this just for this trip and then you try again?
Yeah.
Because that would be the big question.
Right. Yeah.
Are all of his trips to his mother going to be solo
Just
trips
him?
now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's all questions you have to ask. She denied any favoritism and said I was overreacting and just looking for an excuse to go. Never mind that if that were the case, I would have done this yesterday or 2 days ago, since it's now past midnight. She also said if I was the one with the problem, why does everyone have to go? Because you have a problem with her daughter.
Yes, it's not just me that's upset in
Yeah.
this situation. It's like there's other people involved.
Yeah. She came up to say goodbye to us before she went to sleep. To her credit, she didn't make a scene in front of my daughter and said her goodbyes to us. She was obviously cold with me, but I mean, that's to be expected. Thanks again for all the help and a happy 2026. Desiree Times in the comments says, we're not going to criticize you. We advise you to do a hard thing. It's understandable that you chose to give it another shot. But now you know, mother-in-law can't be trusted. Your husband needs to support you. Hope for the best for your kids. Oh, that was a nice commenter.
Very nice.
Sea Roof says it's easy for strangers on the internet to tell you to just leave or just tell the person off, but in practice, it's more difficult. Well done for getting the flight and getting out of there. Travel safe. Bonus Mom says, and good job to Hubs for not dismissing OP and saying, I'll come later, while staying with his parents or rejecting anyone leaving early. And that's the end of that
Nice.
story.
I agree with those comments.
Yeah,
They're
lovely
very
comments.
nice.
Very nice comments for Reddit.
Yeah, I do appreciate what the husband's doing. I mean,
Yeah.
if the problem isn't like totally solved yet, that is kind of out of his hands
Yeah.
a little bit. Like he can do something about it, but like, the mom still has to be the one that changes. So I think
Yeah.
that the husband's doing what he can in the situation, and I appreciate that.
My stepdaughter exposed my past, and my in-laws went crazy.
What'd you do in the past?
I am a female in my late 30s, 36, and I am married to Josh, 40. He has a daughter, Ella, 18, who still lives at home and is in her first year of university. I have been married to Josh since Ella was 12 years old. By the way, this comes from Sad Mycologist 9368. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Carly.
And we are here to give some good advice goofily, but we do not have all the answers. We would only tell you what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. She was on good terms with her bio mom until her mother got married and ghosted her and her father when Ella was only 11. It broke her so much that Josh decided to give it more time before Ella and I would meet. Once we got engaged, Josh finally introduced me to Ella, and surprisingly, we clicked right away. We both loved anime and video games, and we would often play video games together and watch different animes together. When my husband and I finally got married, she was a junior bridesmaid, as I wanted her to be a part of the wedding. She was there for the whole process and was very excited for her father and me to be getting married. When Ella turned 14, she finally started calling me mom, and we are closer than ever. Around 17, her mother came back into her life and her father agreed to let her see her mother every month. She still called me mom, but became more distant than she had ever been. At 18, she started calling me by my name. I will not lie, it stung. But despite all that, I still treated her like my daughter and called her my daughter to others. The point of all of this is to show you how close we were and how her behavior shifted. About 2 weeks ago, Ella asked me if she could borrow some of my body lotion from my room. I did not think twice about it because she has done that in the past. But this time I noticed she was taking a while to come out of my room. I called her name and she did not answer, so I checked on her. She looked panicked and just grabbed the lotion off my dresser and rushed out. I thought it was strange and assumed maybe she was stealing my lipsticks or something petty. I got a little annoyed but brushed it off. A few days later, we were hosting a dinner for New Year's Eve. My husband's parents and my sister were invited over for the countdown. During the countdown, my mother-in-law received a text on her phone and she got up from her seat. She whispered into her husband's ear and showed him something on her phone. At first, I was confused but not bothered until my father-in-law called out to my husband and told him to look at his phone. He did, and his face went pale. He immediately started panicking and asked Ella to talk to him in a separate room. Before that could happen, Ella loudly announced, "Did you know that your wife is a sleut?" My mother-in-law immediately showed me the video and started berating me in front of everyone. My sister tried to de-escalate and defend me, but my stepdaughter kept instigating by telling her grandparents that I was probably cheating on her dad. This made my mother-in-law erupt. They tried to convince my husband that I was definitely cheating and that I was not a good fit for him. My husband already knew about the work I used to do and had my back, which only angered them more. My husband's parents left abruptly after a huge argument, during which my father-in-law called my husband Spicy Sleep Observer. After they left, my sister left shortly after to give us time to sort things out. My husband dropped Ella off at his parents' house for the night so he could talk to me and cool down. 2 days later, he brought Ella home and talked to her while I was out of the house. He explained that he knew everything about my past and had always been supportive of it. According to him, she realized she had made a huge mistake. She cried and apologized to him and told him that her bio mother told her about my past. At first, she did not believe her until she found the tapes.
That is exactly how I thought she found that out too. I was like,
Yeah.
that is from stepmom for sure.
For sure, yeah. Trying to, ruin something. My husband called me and asked if I wanted to talk to her, but what he did not tell me was that he was next to her and had me on speaker. I ended up saying that I did not feel like I wanted to be near her and that I did not want to be her mother anymore. She heard everything and started crying on the phone. She told me she was going to stay with her grandparents for a bit until things cooled down. I agreed, and that has been the arrangement up until recently. My in-laws have already started telling people my business and slandering my name because of this, which makes me even more angry at her since she has had every opportunity to correct them, but has not. I know she was only a teenager, but I cannot bring myself to go back to the way things were just because she apologized. Please, a little help would be nice. Am I being harsh? I mean, it's all kind of up to you, OP. I don't think you have to forgive her immediately because this was all kind of just blurted out, and now obviously the in-laws see you differently, and it does, like, those are like surprising things, like to hear
During the ball drop of New Year's.
by the way,
Happy New Year. I'm
And-
watching you be a spicy worker.
Right, yeah, and good dance moves. So I don't think that you're being too harsh. I think it takes time to heal, and I think it takes time to trust again. This is like a big blow up, and it was like a really deep matter to you that like was your business to tell. I absolutely did not expect this many comments so quickly. Thank you for all the nice replies and those who actually want to give their thought and genuine advice. I'm sorry if I can't reply to all the comments. I'm reading them all and trying to reply to certain comments in order to give clarifications, but I want to address some things here instead to clear up any confusion. I was 20 when I created my first movie. Yes, DVDs existed back then. I'm confused on how some people think DVD corns didn't exist in 2010. Ella was able to find the corn online using the info on the DVD. No, I don't know the details on how she did it, although realistically it shouldn't be hard to find, as I myself had searched for my content and have found it easily. Her father told me that she had screen recorded one of the videos. I kept the DVDs because I was proud of my content at one point, and my husband had requested that I keep some of the ones he liked. I had never had the thought that my stepdaughter would snoop through my things, so no, I did not burn it or hide it. I do not hate my stepdaughter. I just need time to process things. I am still a human being. My stepdaughter's bio mom is friends with my ex-boyfriend, and he was very involved at that point in my life. That's how she knows about my past. My husband did not tell her. She found out from a third party. Josh and I were dating when Ella's mom ghosted my husband and stopped visiting Ella. Yes, she was 11. We dated for about 2 years before we got engaged. We were engaged for 1 year. During that time, my friends and I really got into Naruto and were binging the show. We were close pre-wedding. We clicked instantly is a bit of an exaggeration, but she warmed up to me pretty quickly after she and I found out about our shared interest. Would I be the a-hole if I did not forgive her? I think so. I think you would be the a-hole if you didn't forgive her.
Yeah, I think she is, like, regardless of the fact that she's basically an adult. Like, you are still young at that point.
Yeah.
She was learning. I would be more mad at stepmom, or not stepmom,
Yeah.
bio mom, and ex-boyfriend.
For sure. I would also
Because
be
it's
very
like,
upset.
why are you all snooping? And I would hide those DVDs.
Yeah, I would also...
You
make
probably should have had those hidden, but
Yeah, those-
that's regardless at this point.
Those should have been in a better hiding place.
Better
OP.
hiding spot.
But also, you trusted her, and she never gave you
Yeah.
a reason to, like, not. So I understand why, like,
Yeah.
you didn't feel the need to, like, really hide them.
Yeah. I don't think you're the a-hole for not forgiving her immediately. Because I
Yes.
think it is good also for her to learn that,
To
like,
understand
not
that-
everybody
yes.
is going to just be like, oh, I said sorry, like, it's all good now, like, kind of thing. So, like, it is good to, like, make her work to regain your trust and
Sure.
stuff. But she was a kid. You can forgive her eventually.
Yeah. There are some comments. Positive Happy 10 says, not the a-hole. You are not being harsh. An 18-year-old should know better and deserves the harsh consequences of sharing such personal information and videos in the manner that she did. She wanted to disrupt and cause embarrassment. Hung White Boy 25 says, What I don't get about this is how this brat did this to hurt OP. But now that OP said she didn't want a relationship with her anymore, suddenly she is the bad guy. Nah, not the a-hole. Your in-laws all really suck, though. Outside Place 2857 says, from how it sounds to me anyways, the mom got in stepdaughter's head and probably told her that her dad knew nothing, which it seems like the thing stepdaughter was most upset about from what was initially said. Teenagers aren't exactly known for thinking their actions through, so I doubt she really considered that her dad could have known and taken OP's side instead of hers. It doesn't change anything about how effed up what stepdaughter did was, and doesn't absolve her from any responsibility. She's old enough to know better and should never have involved her grandparents in any way. However, a parent that has abandoned a kid and then turns back up tends to have a weird amount of influence, especially with teenagers, because the kid often still wants their approval / feels like it was their fault the parent left in the first place. Either way, OP is not the a-hole. Beneficial Test 5717 says Ella is 18. This wasn't an act by someone too young to know the likely consequences. Her grandparents can darn well keep her if I had any say in the matter, but that would be turned back on you. Not the a-hole for anything you decide is best about this. Finn 704 says, I'm really bothered by the fact that a husband had the stepdaughter on speaker when he called OP. What a setup and completely unfair. I think that he should have said.
Yeah, honestly, that was my biggest, like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people disagreeing with us. A lot of people just saying straight up, she wouldn't be the a-hole.
I
I agree with the comment that said I think
Yeah.
stepmom had a lot of influence on her.
Exactly. And
I think there's a place for forgiveness. I don't think it needs to come right away. Like, she still can
Exactly.
see consequences.
Yes. Small Floral Prince says, not the a-hole because you did not know she could hear you. And what she did is absolutely a burn it down and salt the earth relationship ending move. If you no longer want to be around her, that's not you being an a-hole. It is a consequence of her behavior that she should have seen coming. Like, really, she thought she could humiliate you and call you names and you'd still want to be all lovey-dovey with her? Nah.
I don't think she thought that you would want to be lovey-dovey with her. I think she thought she was exposing some crazy secret and
Yes.
your dad was going to break up with you or something.
Yeah,
kind
she
of
was
thing.
trying to protect her
Right.
dad.
She was trying to basically protect her dad and help out stepmom without
Yeah.
realizing that part maybe, but
Exactly. I think it was all in like dad's best interest. She, like her mom was like, oh, she probably has tapes somewhere, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And then she found the tapes. She's like, oh God, this is a thing.
right.
And she's still doing this. How do I
Right.
tell my
She's
dad?
cheating on- She thought you were cheating on her dad.
Exactly.
Love
And so
that.
she was just she didn't go about it the right way because obviously she's a teenager.
Yeah.
Obviously, like she has known you for years and this is a big reveal. So obviously she's going to react big because she also cares about you, OP, but also cares about her dad. And it's like, I'm obviously going to take my bio dad over my stepmom, And so I think everything got blown out of proportion. I'm so sorry she did this to you. And that so many relatives responded in awful ways. Outrageous Comb 7818. I have a feeling the aftermath is just getting started. With your husband having your back and his parents reacting that way, you're both gonna end up low contact or no contact with them. And is Ella going to move out? Imagine trying to live together after that. What's this going to do to her relationship with her dad? I will give you one thing to think about. Your husband's in a hard position now between you and his daughter. I know the wound is fresh, but don't take forgiveness off the table completely. Of course, not now. But eventually, not for her sake, but for your husband's and your own. I agree. So the judgment is not the a-hole, there is an update. Update 5 days later. Before I start the update, I want to give some context about Ella's mother and my relationship with her. For the sake of the post and convenience, I will call Ella's mother Lori. Context. Lori and I are not on good terms. Back when Lori and Josh were together, I was actually friends with Josh. We never saw each other romantically at the time, and our relationship was completely platonic. After a while, Lori started to feel bothered by my friendship with Josh. Instead of talking to me directly, she started asking around about me. She eventually got information through my ex-boyfriend, and once she found out I was a former porn actress, she flipped out. She accused me of trying to seduce her boyfriend and called me a slut and a homewrecker, trashing me to some of Josh's and my mutual friends. Josh eventually broke up with her after she started threatening me with violence.
Jeez.
And they became single co-parents to Ella. And just to clarify, I never had an affair with Josh. Around 2014 to 2015, Lori started dating a new guy. Not long after, she quickly moved in with him, exposing Ella to her new boyfriend against Josh's wishes. Lori's boyfriend was extremely sketchy, and because of that, Josh constantly argued with her about Ella's safety around him. Josh would often threaten to keep Ella away from Lori, and after each threat, Josh would not hear back from Lori for weeks, despite Ella's eagerness to see her mom. Even after all the boundaries Lori crossed, Josh stayed faithful to his promise not to introduce me to Ella until we were engaged. When we finally did meet Ella, Ella and I became close. This angered Lori as she did not want a home wrecker in her daughter's life. She also resented the fact that Josh proposed to me after 2 years of dating, while he never proposed to her during all their years together. One day, while picking Ella up from our home, she started an argument with Josh. The argument quickly turned violent, and she smacked him in the face. Josh snapped and told her she was not allowed to come to his house again, or he would call the police. Lori left angrily and decided to leave Ella at her house instead of picking her up as planned. When Josh tried to contact her later, he realized he was blocked everywhere. Months later, he found out that she had secretly married her sketchy boyfriend without informing anyone. Even though Josh's messages would not go through, Ella would sometimes reach out to her mother and actually get a response. Despite that, her mother never made an effort to meet with her until 2024, which is when my husband started setting up dates so that her mother could see her again. Now that the context is out of the way, here's what happened recently. Okay.
Whew, okay. Recent stuff.
My husband spoke to Lori about her role in all of this. Many commenters pointed out that Ella was being influenced by her mother, which turned out to be true. Lori admitted to my husband that she told Ella I was cheating on him. She also told Ella about my past to sell the idea that I sleep around a lot. My husband was incredibly upset and called her miserable and insecure. He apparently unleashed heck on her, and she blocked him once again. My stepdaughter is living at home again. She showed up at our door with a handwritten note apologizing to me for everything. Even though I was still very hurt about her New Year's stunt, I could not help but feel a little bittersweet emotion that made me cry hard. In the note, she talked about all the feelings she had kept in for so long. She wrote about how she cried when she found out I was cheating on her dad. She wrote about how she mourned the end of our relationship and how upset she was for her father, going on about how she was stupid to believe her mother. She also wrote that she always loved me, but felt like with her mother in her life, she was forced to choose. Even though she thought of me as her real mother at heart, she felt like she should side with her mom because she is blood. I asked her to explain the note to me, and together with my husband, we sat down and talked. It was extremely emotional for all of us, and even my husband started tearing up. Being able to finally cry and tell her how deeply her distance hurt me felt relieving. It went better than I imagined, and I no longer felt angry towards her. I still had some leftover resentment, and I will not pretend otherwise, but I felt good about the conversation. She stayed the night, and the next morning, things were a little awkward but tolerable. After a day of awkwardness, we had another conversation about her mother. She told me she did not want to cut her mother off completely, but she planned to distance herself for a while. I brought up my family therapy, as some of you suggested, but she told me it was not something she was interested in, which I respected. We are currently on awkward but civil speaking terms. I am not sure things will ever be the same, but I am optimistic that they could improve. I reached out to Josh's parents this morning with Josh beside me on the phone. They apologized in a strange, half-hearted way. They said they do not agree with my past, but they did apologize for saying I was cheating on my husband. Josh's dad also apologized to Josh for using hurtful words towards him. They never apologized for calling me degrading names, which irritated me, but for now, I will take it as a win. A lot of comments were bashing Josh for how he handled the phone call. I wasn't extremely upset about it before, but after reading a lot of comments, I did kind of realize what a knucklehead move it was. I spoke to him about it, and he apologized. He even thought it would be wise to let Ella hear the consequences of her actions, but did not expect me to say I didn't want to be her mother anymore. By the way, you can expect me to tell you that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this by going to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app. Just type in OK Storytime, and you get to listen to all of it, all the time. There is a little bit more left. Any final thoughts?
This was exactly what we said.
Yep.
Like they would have a big, heartfelt moment, and they'd be okay.
Yeah.
And maybe not totally okay yet, but they're getting there.
I think
It's
they're getting
exactly
there.
it's exactly what we said.
Literally, yeah. It's everything. It just seemed like that was it. I don't think she meant for it to
Yeah,
blow up this
I don't
way, and the
think
way
so
she did it
either.
was not okay. And she knows that it's not okay now, and her writing the letter and understanding the consequences, I agree. I think she's trying to like rekindle the relationship.
Yeah.
I don't think she's like, trying to be all big and like,
No, I don't think so
you know,
either.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think she understands what happened and she's sorry and she's remorseful for what she did and she's hoping to get back to the place that they were.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And I think them sitting down and all having a conversation, like all crying about it, like I kind of teared up. But I was like, oh, cute. I forgave him as he did what he thought was best at the time. And honestly, I had also made a huge mistake by saying I didn't want to be Ella's mother anymore. I signed up for the role when I got married to her father. So I don't and will not hold that brief moment against him when I was guilty of a mistake as well. But honestly, that's it.
And honestly, that's one of those things where it's like you said some things in the moment, she said some things in the moment.
Exactly.
Like both can be forgiven.
Yeah, there are some comments. Jitsu Passaway Sen says, if your stepdaughter doesn't want to attend family therapy and isn't really willing to address how toxic and manipulative her mother is, I worry this won't end well. Please make sure you are a good advocate for yourself in this situation. Safe word 9999. So what's going to happen regarding the entire community of people your in-laws have been slandering you to? It's a bit late to take that back and they made it public. Lun40 said, yep, not that the in-laws actually give an F. No real accountability or apology.
Yeah, high key in-laws might be low contact, no contact
Yeah.
now.
And they
It's
seem like they still are like very much
Yeah.
judging her.
I think a good amount of the community, well, it depends on, I feel like almost how old the community is.
yeah.
We'll get over that. Who cares? I bet a lot of people were like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah, also, yeah. I would not be like,
Like,
oh, you live next to a corn star past it,
Right.
like 10 years ago.
I'd be like,
I'd be like, that's cool.
okay. What about it? Like,
Are you telling me to like go watch the videos or what?
right? Like, it's kind of weird that you're telling me to go watch your daughter-in-law.
Right, yeah. Like it's weird to like, and
Yeah.
also to like not get an explanation first, just
Right.
to assume that all of that's real and all that stuff, and just like not even willing to hear like OPs.
I
like,
think there's
part in it.
ways that'll die down though.
Yeah,
But
I think
low or no contact might be good.
yeah.
My daughter's teacher denied her a bathroom break, then demanded I verify it.
Pee on the floor.
My 14-year-old daughter is a freshman in high school. She has big dreams, so she takes school very seriously. She's a good student and doesn't get into trouble. By the way, this comes from Common Piglet 7437, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
I'm Carly.
and we're here to give good advice goofly, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Today, she emailed me to tell me that she told her teacher that she has her period and urgently needed to go to the bathroom. The teacher said, no. She went on to tell the teacher that she has a heavy period and didn't want to get her light gray pants dirty for the rest of the school day. The teacher again said, no. She panicked and went anyways. She stayed within the bathroom rules of being back within 5 minutes, etc. And when she arrived back, the teacher told her to speak with her in the hallway. The teacher told her that she doesn't believe her and that she was going to receive a disciplinary referral. She recommended that my daughter have me email her to verify that she has her period. My daughter is freaking out because disciplinary referrals are usually used for students using AI or getting caught with their phone too many times. I'm trying really hard not to rage out at this teacher right now. Every email I've started isn't great. I ultimately decided to call the assistant principal to ask what my daughter should have done in this situation and plan to reserve my words for when I hear back from the assistant principal. Additional info, I was called to come to the nurse's office yesterday because my daughter had bad cramps and I needed to give meds as well as sign a paper allowing my daughter to carry the meds on her. My daughter just got her period yesterday and this happened at about 9:30 a.m. Given that it's her second heavy day and how early she gets up in the morning, it makes sense that she was overdue at this point. Am I overreacting that my daughter is getting in trouble for not listening to the teacher during a biological urgency? I'm curious what others would have done or how you would approach this with the school or teacher. And we've got comments. Don't send an email to the teacher. Go over their head and deal directly with the principal. OP says this seems to be the general consensus. I'm about to run errands, and if I don't hear from the VP before I'm done, I'm going to stop into the school. Is the teacher a woman? OP says the teacher is a woman. I looked her up on Facebook and she has 2 young daughters. Downvoted commenter says, what is your daughter's relationship with this teacher? Teacher is still in the wrong, but for the teacher to not believe her, it could be because she has caught her lying in the past. This may be shocking, but kids are cruel to teachers every I've seen many entitled children tell teachers how to do their jobs, and then the parents come in and defend their little angel because they would never do anything wrong. All I'm saying is that yes, the teacher was wrong in this instance, but everyone on here is ready to hang the teacher, and we have no idea what their side of the story is. Being a teacher is hard work. Mistakes happen. They have to deal with crappy kids and their crappy parents on a daily. Thankfully, at present, the good kids and good parents outnumber the bad ones. But things are changing. OP says, the new semester started yesterday, so this is day 2 of having her as a teacher. She's a pretty quiet kid, so I can't imagine that she knows a lot about her yet. Downvoted, commenter 2 says story didn't happen the way it's stated, or OP's omitting details, or they themselves have been lied to. Teachers aren't gonna risk it if a kid says it's an emergency, full stop. Well, I didn't let a kid go to the bathroom when they said it was an emergency, so they crapped themselves, so now we can't use the room. A teacher isn't going to request period documentation from a parent. Unless they get period proof, it's a referral. I also find it odd you went to the nurse the day prior for period issues and somehow the school is still giving a referral. Would that not be evidence? They probably haven't connected the two. The teacher probably didn't know about.
I thought that she went to the nurse the day after her period. She said it was day 2 of the period. I took that to be like she had it, gotten it in the class, and the next day she needed the meds. Maybe I mixed that in my head.
I also don't know any high school that would make you come in or allow a student to carry meds on them. Leave it at a nurse's office. Kid has a note to go there and get some if needed and goes back to class. This feels fake or rage bait. OP says, not sure what I would be omitting or lying about. This is a strange response. The teacher wanted me to verify that she was not lying about her period. She didn't ask for pictures or anything. My daughter could have easily brought up the nurse, but she was so upset after being humiliated in front of the class that she probably didn't think about it. There is a form that I can put on file that will allow my daughter to carry meds with her or to allow the school to give her some. Since we didn't have anything on file, I had to go into the office and physically hand the pills to her. The nurse then told me about the form. It's just a form that says her name, meds, dose, and she had to sign a part saying she wouldn't give them to any other students. It's not like Ritalin or anything, it's OTC. She can now carry it in her backpack. We live in a large metro area. I'm sure a form like this is common at other schools. And comment 1 says exactly what I was thinking. Giveaway for me is what 14-year-old emails their parents, let alone anyone. I personally wasn't allowed to have phones, and they said earlier that if you get caught on your phone too much, you get written up. So personally, I only had a computer. So the only way that I was able to reach out to my parents if I needed my mom or something was to email her, unless I wanted to sneak my phone. So these people have never been to school. What a time waster. OP says phones are banned in her school as of this year. I think our state just allowed statewide ban as well. Even before the ban, my kids would email me if it was during class. It's easier since their Chromebook is already out versus pulling out their phone. Exactly what I did. If I was sick, I'd email my mom and be like, please, let me get me. I feel like people just assume that they know. I mean, there's so many comments. There is an update before we get to it, but there's just so many comments that are so obvious to me that people have no idea what kids are like.
And also just wondering how many of them just aren't used to American public school systems.
Yes,
because I do feel like we function weird. I get it, but
yes, absolutely. It's you don't know how they work. You either don't know how American school systems work, or don't know how private school systems work, or
they
you
like
just,
to
never
ban
talk to a
silly
kid.
things in school before the important things.
Yeah, I had to pay $20 to get my phone back once because a scam caller called me. January 28th, 2026. I was going to stop by the school when I was done running errands, but the VP called me back just before I left. I told her the story just as my daughter told it to me. She genuinely seemed horrified. She shared my concerns as a mom who also has a high school daughter. She said she had looked at my daughter's record and there was zero evidence that she skips class or had any disciplinary actions against her that might suggest she has other intentions. And even if she did have a record, she still should have been allowed to use the bathroom. She asked what I wanted done to the teacher. I said, as a rage-filled mom right now, I want her fired. But I also understood the district was already understaffed, so I believed she at least needed to be educated and reprimanded. She asked if it was okay if she spoke to my daughter so she could get the cadence of the conversation straight from her before she spoke with the teacher and others. I told her to please do, and that I thought it would be good for her to know that what happened was wrong and that she did the right thing. The downside to all of this is that the VP was leaving after their talk to go to a conference and wouldn't be back until Monday, so she probably won't talk to the teacher until then. She said that she was going to talk to my daughter and let her know that she can go to the ARC instead of that class until they meet again on Monday. Additionally, she is going to offer her a change in schedule. It does sound like the referral was merely a threat, and it worked. It scared the crap out of my daughter, who is scared of any sort of record. I'll update more when I get more info. For now, I'm just relieved that the VP agrees that this was messed up. Before I go, I'll address a few comments. Some people thought it was weird she didn't text me. My daughter didn't text me because phones are banned in school. This was a rule for the first time this year, probably because it was on its way to becoming a state law. In Wisconsin, if they are caught with their phone, even in their pocket, they will get it taken away and a parent has to come into the office to get it. After a few times, they get a referral. But honestly, even last year, my kids emailed me because it was easier for them since they're always on their Chromebook. I wish this was rage bait because this is the last thing I need on my mind right now, and something I wouldn't wish on any young woman. I've had this account that I believe I got by signing in through my Google email 4 years ago. I very rarely go on Reddit, but I've been on here more recently and decided to take my rage out here. In the past, I've reacted on impulse, so I wanted to make sure that I was justifiably raged. And honestly, to get more ideas of things to point out or how to better handle this. I appreciate all of the support. She's gonna go crazy later when I tell her I posted this on Reddit, and I got lots of responses. Relevant comments. OP responds to a long downvoted comment regarding the possibility of her daughter lying. OP says, my daughter was upfront about it being period related. The VP talked to both my daughter and the teacher. The teacher then called me and I answered, not realizing it could be her. And now my daughter is mad at me because when she said, I just wanted to know she wasn't lying. I said, what did you want? A picture of a bloody tampon? It was a short conversation and I feel a little bad that my daughter heard me be unkind to her, but she shouldn't have called me when she knew I was upset. I probably would have had a little more chill in me tomorrow. Same commenter says, okay, so you spoke with the teacher who confirmed what your daughter said about being upfront with her period. Sounds like you have a right to be upset. Not surprised that the teacher called. I doubt that the teacher knew that you would be so upset that you couldn't talk with her about it on the phone at that time, unless the VP told her beforehand. That might just be your inexperience showing. OP said, she said, I heard you were upset about what happened in my class today. The conversation wasn't super long, and I told her that I would be continuing my conversation with the VP instead of her. Update 2. The teacher called me. I answered because I thought it was the VP, which was dumb because she had told me she was leaving for the day and week. The teacher told me her account of the situation and explained to me that she created a new policy, and because it was the start of the semester, she was being firm with it. I said, she told you it was urgent because of her period, and your response was to deny her, humiliate her, and then threaten her. She said that she just wanted to know that she wasn't lying to her. And I said, how did you want me to prove to you that she had a period? Did you want a picture of a bloody tampon or something? Not my finest moment, especially with my daughter in the car. And it would be your finest moment if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. She responded, no, that's disgusting. I said, I agree. Denying a young woman a bathroom and then wanting proof that she wasn't lying was disgusting. I was very disgusted in this situation. I then told her that I would prefer to continue this combo with the VP, and we hung up, and that's the end of the story.
Good
Nice.
for you, honestly.
Good parent standing up for your kid. Love it.
Handled like a champ.
But that's the end of that story, and we've got another one coming right up.
I made my daughter's boyfriend buy a new shirt because it was disrespectful.
What was on it?
A naked lady. The 23rd of December, my daughter's 19, boyfriend 19, came for dinner. We had a dinner then because he's going away with his family for Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
He arrived, rang the bell, and I answered the door. He came in, took off his jacket, and that's when I saw it. He was wearing a t-shirt that said, "It's not gonna suck itself."
Buddy.
To family get together? You wore that shirt to the family get together
And
night?
the dad is definitely wearing a tie with this, like a vest on kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like a Christmas kind of vest. Business guy.
I see it. I would really hope he'd be wearing like a pairing shirt.
Oh,
Right.
no, this is what he's wearing. This is what he's wearing. Son's wearing that. Kid's wearing that. The dad's wearing $20 is $20. I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. That's the shirt he's wearing.
He just wears a shirt that says, "I love to suck."
Yeah, what I said, yeah.
I'm
I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven, right there.
By the way, comes from user Freud's Driver. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit your story there. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
We're going to talk about whatever this story has in store for us. and you're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about in our comments.
Yeah, you have the freedom.
Those are our roles. That is what we do for each other. That's what we provide. So OP says, I took one look at that shirt and I asked him if he had any money. He said no, and asked why.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, you can automatically assume anyone wearing that shirt probably doesn't have a lot of money.
Hey man, you got $1?
Yeah, you have any money? I was just wondering, I might take you up on your offer. He said no and asked why. I told him that the shirt showed a marked lack of respect for both my daughter and my wife. I pulled 2 20s out of my wallet and quietly ushered him back out the door, told him there's a Walmart 3 miles away, and to buy a more respectful shirt and come back with it on.
Fair.
Honestly, fair. Yeah, you gave the man $40 of t-shirt money?
Dude, that's $10 t-shirt money, $30 in my pocket.
Yeah, $5 t-shirt money.
Oh, shoot.
Dude, I'm going to the dollar store. Mind you, this whole exchange took place between him and I without an audience.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not a scene.
Walmart has some pretty good clothes.
They do.
They got some nice dress shirts. You could probably come back in a full Christmas dinner outfit.
I had most of my work button-ups when I worked in restaurants, so I got them from Walmart.
Yeah, it's nice.
Totally works. He was gone for 15 minutes, came back with a nice polo shirt on. We had a nice dinner together, and nothing was mentioned of the incident.
Okay.
Right? And that should be the end of the story, but we have like 7/8 of the story left to read.
Dude, what?
No.
You handled that as a man. Also, I'm proud of you because this young man, you're giving him an example of what a father would do and what you would want a father to do.
It is true. I mean, you know, you've handled this flawlessly.
This is perfect.
You can't read the "it's ain't gonna suck itself" shirt. You can't wear that to family night. You can't wear that to family dinner. It ain't gonna suck itself is insane.
Okay, so?
The next day, my daughter came to me and her mother and told us what I did, humiliated him. They aren't in breakup territory or anything, and no yelling or anything of the sort has happened. My wife did tell me I could have handled it differently. So Reddit, am I wrong for handling it this way? And if so, how could I have handled it? And there's an edit.
Dude, your wife didn't back you up?
Yeah,
That's a red flag.
I'm gonna read this edit real quick. I'm 57, 10 years away from the funniest number. And a long haul truck driver, so I've...
No! I drive 1,800 miles in a night. I don't.
Honestly, I think you're giving long haul truckers a good name here because I think most people would presume a long haul trucker would have like ripped this kid's arms off and beat him with them.
Or been like, hell yeah, I like that shirt, buddy.
Oh, why don't you unzip, son?
I'll help you right now.
You're right. Your shirt is very informative.
Dude, this guy's so much better.
So, as a long-haul truck driver, I've had my share of bad moments. Most of us guys here can remember stupid things that we did as teens, even into our 20s. The ones that stand out for me are the ones where someone didn't react with anger or malice. They were the ones that someone reacted with constructive kindness. Ones where a quiet redemption was offered. Where a mirror was quietly held up to my behavior. Those are the ones I learned from and appreciated the most. Hopefully he comes out the other side with a new appreciation for kindness offered quietly and without fanfare. Just my thoughts here. There is an update. My brother, you did everything perfectly.
It is a humiliating thing, but you didn't do it in front of everyone. You gave him $40. Did he give you any money back? Because I know for dang sure that polo did not cost $40.
Not from the Walton store. Does he not understand? Like, first of all, his humiliation came from himself. He humiliated himself.
Yeah.
And also he got saved from the humiliation being way worse.
Mm-hmm. You should be grateful for that. You should.
Yeah.
And you should also have so much respect for this man because he told you to change. Dude.
This man just saved your social standing with the entire family.
My God, I would love to meet this man, honestly.
Where is your daughter's brain, by the way? Did she not know he was wearing that shirt under the jacket? I can't imagine bringing, like, you know, I don't know what the female equivalent of that shirt is. But
no, I know what it is. Is if a girl came in with those juicy yoga pants on, you know, where it says, like, juicy over the butt?
But I mean, like, that is like a brand. Like, this was a command. This shirt was basically a command. It said, well, take my pants off, slurp my...
Well,
sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that.
Schlong.
take my pants off and get to work.
Well, I
That's
feel like
crazy.
I feel like the pants at a family dinner is like, oh, look at my juicy, flamboyant Boombas.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd have to be more like
Kiss me. Anyways, I get your point though.
it would have to be a shirt that said like
Full
that
nangle,
is-
full nangle my
This
knobs.
is really bad. A shirt that says fresh clam chowder and just an arrow pointing down. That would be like a, hey, babe, you cannot wear that to my dinner with my family. You 1000% can't do that. I'm not letting anyone wear that shirt to
But
my
that
family
could
dinner.
also be said as a brand. There's no command.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, the point being, not letting that one, not being like, well, I'm going to let my partner express themselves however they deem fit.
Yeah, that was that. God, no, man. I'm also very disappointed in your wife. I think that's the person I'm most disappointed in.
Yeah, I mean, who, or OP's daughter. You mean?
Also, if this was my daughter, I'd be like, girl, you were worth more than this, than to be sexualized.
Yeah, you know, at your own family dinner is crazy.
During Christmas. And they're making this dinner,
time.
and they're doing this dinner for him because he won't be able to see her daughter for Christmas.
He's talking about what's
Hey.
something in Christmas you got to suck? The Yule log?
I don't know, the candy cane.
You got to suck. Maybe he was talking about all the ashes in the fireplace that need to be sucked up before they start the new fire.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Golly.
Anyway, update. After reading these comments and listening to everyone's point of view, I sat my daughter down this morning and asked her what her boyfriend actually said to her. This changes my opinion of him.
Oh gosh, he's a little
liar. He's lying.
He's manipulative. That manipulating, conniving.
Yeah. Apparently, he had not told my daughter what the phrase was on the shirt, but did tell her accurately what I said to him and asked him to do. He didn't use the word humiliated. That was my daughter's interpretation. Her rush to defend him came from our examples. Apparently, she's taken note of times I've defended my wife and vice versa. She also took note of our disagreements in private after the fact. She is going to talk to him when he gets back tomorrow to follow up on why he thought the shirt was appropriate for the family setting. I'll update again after that conversation. Yes.
Dude, another point to this dad because he raised his daughter right.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Daughter was being lied to.
Yo, dude. Also, props to you, dad, for straightening this out.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Dude, this is a beautiful play-by-play
This is a good playbook.
of what to do. This is, oh my gosh.
We're seeing behind the curtain on how the top dogs
Top
run
1%.
it.
Yeah, the 1%ers.
The 1%'s running their ships right now. And we do have that other update. So my daughter called him about an hour ago, and this will be informative. She asked him why he hadn't told her what the shirt said when he talked to her. His reply was telling. He said, because it was embarrassing. Hey, stupid. Why'd you wear it to the dinner?
Dude, you literally could have never ever spoken about this again, and it would have been between man to man.
Yeah.
Man to man, but you had to lie.
You had to. You just had to go and fib yourself, didn't you, boy? I mean, my guy.
This is a boy. He could have been a man,
Boy.
but he failed the man test.
Then she went on to ask him why he wore it originally, and he admitted that the shirt had been a gift from his older brother, 21, and that the older brother had dared him to and called him chicken when he objected, etc. It was dumb sibling crap, apparently.
I don't believe that.
I mean, that would be pretty dumb.
I wouldn't believe it at all.
She went on to tell him that none of what he'd done was cool and that she really liked him and that he'd always been kind to her. She said she wasn't breaking up with him, but that these steps needed to be done. First, he needed to explain to his parents the entire situation. Second, he needed to show up in person to our home and bring the money for the shirt and, as she put it, put in a whole butt-kissing session that included the explanation of the dare, etc. She said that if this was handled well, they could talk about moving forward and what that would look like.
Fair.
Fair. Balanced and fair.
It's gonna be a very uncomfortable hour. No, uncomfortable day, uncomfortable 20 minutes. You just have to bear like 20 minutes. Maybe 10?
I think you could get this done in 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
It's a 10-minute combo.
10-minute conversation, excruciating, but it can be done.
Yep.
And are you believing this sibling thing?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have done this to one of your younger siblings.
I wouldn't have.
You
I don't
wouldn't have
think so.
tried. You wouldn't have tried to get
I
them
would
to
have
eat-
tried.
You wouldn't have tried to get them to wear your lesbians eat what shirt. Yeah, you totally would.
If I knew the family, yeah.
And they'd be like, no, Riley, I can't. You'd be like, come on.
Come on.
Chicken.
Come on, Ryder.
Don't you want them to think that you're funny?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the way that he lied earlier. I don't know if I believe this.
Yeah.
Anything that comes out of his mouth, I don't
It's
know.
a reliable cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not taking that jacket off. If I'm him, I'm like, no, I run cold. I run cold. I'll keep my jacket on.
The amount of times I've worn that shirt on like guest meetings, they just see lesbians.
They're like, oh, this guy's an ally. Anyway, after the phone call, she talked to her mom and I and admitted that she forgot her worth. She said that I, as long as she had been alive, had never gone out of my way to embarrass her mom, and that I'd always been respectful and not let anyone be disrespectful to her mom. And that made me feel good. So she wasn't going to settle for less. Good for her. I'll update after her visit later tomorrow afternoon.
All right.
And there's an update number 3.
Dude.
She's broken up. She's moving on. She's starting a business. She's becoming an accountant.
At this point, yeah, she's probably becoming a millionaire because of how great this dad did at raising her.
She's touring the facility and picking up slack.
She's picking out her next warehouse for her factory. And she's making very thin walls on the outers of it so it can expand easier.
And she's
whenever it gets
got
to
a
that point.
short skirt and a long jacket. That you didn't catch the touring the facility and picking up slack. That was a line from the Cake song.
Cake song.
Yeah. Long jacket.
Cake, like
I
Cake
want
the
a
artist?
girl who knows what's
Oh,
best.
Cake. Yeah. I got you. My bad. It's been a minute.
Bow, 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 bow. Yeah, it's been too long, man. When's Cake gonna come back? Update 3. This will make those of you following this saga laugh. I received a call this evening from Mr. Boyfriend's parents. Firstly, they are mortified and extremely apologetic. Secondly, and the whole best part of this update, which I have their permission to share, is that his parents are on Reddit and commented on my post in support of the way I handled the situation. They were like, that was you? That was our kid? And that was you?
No way.
Oh,
Like,
man.
golly.
Man, this boyfriend can't catch a break,
He
dude.
can't. He
Oh,
can't.
my God.
Dude, imagine getting home. Be like, they already know what you've done once they connected the dots. And it's like, oh, we understand what's
Yeah.
happened.
He comes home and they're like, didn't your brother give you like a novelty shirt the other day? What
Oh
did
my
that say
gosh.
again?
This is so funny.
They told me that they love my daughter and that we had raised her right and had not raised their sons to show this level of disrespect for anyone, let alone his girlfriend. Apparently, boyfriend was following up on one of my daughter's conditions and went to talk to his parents. As the story unfolded, his mom reached for her phone, opened Reddit, and yelled, "Is this about you?" Yeah, what a revelation. To quote his dad, as the son read the first half paragraph, he passed away a little on the inside. So anyways, they're going to come to dinner tomorrow evening with boyfriend. More updates tomorrow night. And we have more updates, people.
Stop it. Dude, I have an equally, I think worse. No, way worse. I have an equally way worse story that it happened the same beats as this. I will tell it later.
And yes, yeah, dude. Update number 4. Dinner was very pleasant. Let me say that his parents are great. Boyfriend showed up with red roses for my daughter and yellow roses for my wife.
Whoa.
Roses for the wife, that's bold. He offered what I thought was a very sincere apology and a card with the entire $40 in it, even though he had given me the change and receipt on the original night. I cooked tonight to give my wife a break. I made an Indian dish called butter chicken with basmati rice. Neither had eaten curry before, but loved it.
That's good. Wow. I was thinking, oh, what if it was like butter chicken?
Butter chicken. Butter chicken, the most
Dang.
accessible form of chicken for the Western palate. The butter chicken.
I love it.
Dude.
I ate some baller chicken last night. I might have to bring it tomorrow and have you guys try it. It's really good.
There's a restaurant down the street from our place.
Indian food? I think I know what you're talking about.
No, it's like a Nepalese place.
Oh,
It's so good.
sounds good.
Yeah. As it turns out, older brother is the family athlete, JV soccer, varsity soccer, and a sports scholarship for soccer, is a quintessential jock. Little brother is the exact opposite. He's artistic and has real talent, sensitive, quiet, and felt like he never measured up to big brother and works to gain big brother's respect.
Ah, I see.
Yes. Yeah, this could never be you because you'd be too good of a brother.
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty athletic and also the artistic one. So,
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
would never be like, you can't square up to me, boy. You'd be like,
Well-
you've got it, bro. You'd be like super talented.
I was pretty rough on Tate up until he got bigger than me. Then I kind of backed off.
That's how that's the law of the jungle right there.
Yeah, but then sometimes he comes up to me and I have to show him, hey, I can still beat you up.
Yeah.
But we're good now.
I don't
Now
know.
little brother Sawyer, he's doing that.
Yeah.
I might have to hit him in the gut just so he can calm down a bit.
He's taller than you. He's like 6'8".
Golly, he was soon.
Crazy.
Okay, so we
That
got
was so
Indian
weird.
food. A brother bullies him.
Yeah. Brother takes full advantage of this and exploits his little brother for his own amusement. Near the end of dinner, daughter says, I think I'll keep him around for a little longer. You guys okay with that? I hate that expression so much. We are good with that for now. His mom is the boss, though, for thinking outside the box. As punishment to older brother, mom went into his clothing, drawers, and closet, took every shirt off of him, and bought him 8 very bright pink t-shirts that he'll wear until he realizes just how damaging exploiting anyone, is. His access to cash is also cut off until said lesson is learned. I don't like that. Anyway.
I don't know about the bright pink shirts. Maybe like just t-shirt and white t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah, James Dean him up.
Yeah, I don't know. Bright pink. I don't
It just
know.
seems like
Humiliation factor.
Yeah, I feel like that's just gonna lead to retribution.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, I probably would have took some notes from these parents. Been like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, what would you guys do as the big dogs, as the top dogs?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to learn. These are like parents that like apparently are not top dogs because their kid did this and they went a little over the line.
Yeah, these are bottom dogs. Anyway, a successful night with new friends was enjoyed. Hope this was the update you hoped for, and there is another update.
Wait, how far in are we?
We're getting closer to the end
Oh,
here. I
I
think
thought-
we've got 2 more updates.
Wow, I thought we like were halfway through. I was like, how long is this t-shirt saga going to
No,
go?
We're pulling up. Update 5, just to give you some info. Older brother has been much better for the last little bit and actually enjoys the pink shirts.
I knew that was going to happen.
Apparently his girlfriend likes them and he's gotten a few compliments. Right. That was my other thought was it's like,
It's going to backfire.
yeah, you're just going to make him like the cool guy who doesn't care,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the coolest thing you can be.
It's not care.
Yeah.
It's hard to
anyway.
do.
My lovely daughter is more than ready to go back for her spring semester. Boyfriend has been around the house more and has been very respectful. The two of them read the comments here and she teases him. I know they're technically adults, but my wife and I insist on the door being open in any room they occupy together. Nothing is derailing her education. Nice. Her and her older brother are amazing scholars, and we are immensely proud of them. My wife is a teacher with 30 years experience, and I'm a truck driver for 25 years, but I'm also educated with a degree in clinical psychology. Anyway, I'm rambling. Take care.
He doesn't want to leave us.
And by the way, we'll never leave you on your lonesome, because you can listen to full episodes with stories like this one wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you can listen to the whole archive. We do have a final update coming up.
Fair. Dude, dang. Wow.
I want these parents to write a book.
I kind of
Riley?
do.
I
How to be parenting big dog 101.
The teacher and the truck driver, : how to be the big dogs when it comes to parenting your little dogs.
And like your gosh, I feel like with books like that, you need your like success stories. You know what I'm talking about? Like your testimonies.
Your highlights.
and you just like, here's my daughter. She makes $1 million a year, and this is how your kid can too.
Here's my daughter. She is a millionaire. Her boyfriend made a mistake, and she made him pay penance for it.
And this is how she became a millionaire.
Yes. Well, we've got an update. We've got a 6th update. My daughter's son and my daughter's boyfriend head back to school this next weekend. I miss them immensely when they're gone, but I'm so proud and excited for their futures. Boyfriend has been very respectful and shows real kindness. His parents and older brother came for dinner last weekend again. We are becoming quick friends. So things are going very well. Thank you all so very much from both my wife and I for the kind words.
Aw, cute. Parent friends.
Parent friends, parents.
So if this kid did not do this, they'd be missing out. Also, it showed that the guy liked the daughter a lot.
Yeah. And it shows that, maybe we're learning the lesson that we don't just have to listen to our older brother all the time. Even though
I don't know
he's a
about
cool
that.
soccer player.
I don't know about that. I think we should listen to our older brothers.
Especially when your last name is Wilson.
Yes.
That's right. You listen to your oldest brother.
Don't forget about that.
Even though he's your shortest brother.
I will be the shortest pretty soon. Give it 10 years. I'll be short. But we're going to get to the next story, my dudes.
You're saving all your height to pass on to your child.
Yep,
And
they're
you're
not.
gonna
They're
have
using it all.
You're gonna have a 7'5" American Wembanyama.
My stepdaughter keeps destroying my things, and I want her out.
We must remove the destroyer.
Me, 32 male, and my wife, Andy, 34 female, have been together for about 3 years now. And we've been married for one of those years. We get along really well. The only problem is her daughter Carrie, 16 female. She is from my wife's previous marriage. Her father, my wife's ex-husband, passed in a car accident about 5 years ago. By the way, this comes from Am I the A-hole for 1111-1? 11111. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. When Andy and I started dating, we took things really slow. She didn't introduce me to Carrie until she knew things were serious between us. When I met Carrie, she was distant and overall mean to me. But I understood that, of course. I tried to bond with her and spend time together, but I never forced her to do anything she didn't want to do. I told her to address me by my first name and had no intention of replacing her father. I just wanted us to get along. Things got better, but sometimes she was rude to me and made inappropriate comments. I never said anything because my wife told me to just give her some time. Things really escalated after our marriage. I offered my wife and her daughter the chance to live in my house. Andy immediately agreed, but her daughter did not. Though since she was 15 at the time, my wife gave her no choice. That's when the problems started. Carrie would intentionally make messes in the kitchen, like destroying glasses and plates, leaving sharp glass on the ground. She would throw things out the window and insult our neighbors. This would happen about twice a week. I admit I have a bad temper, so sometimes I yelled at her and made her clean up her mess. But I never laid my hands on her. My wife repeatedly told her to stop behaving like that, but it didn't help. This went on for about a year. Last week, she outdid herself. Andy and I were coming home from dinner and found the garage door open. We discovered Carrie destroying my
What?
BMW X5. So she's doing the opposite of your business plan. She's destroying fancy cars for less money.
I think that should teach you a lesson not to buy BMWs. I don't know about you, but it seems like Carrie just has it out against, European import cars.
So
If that were a true American muscle classic.
I'm sorry. Why are we not disciplining Carrie?
Yeah, it seems like it was just like, no, don't do that. And she keeps doing it, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
I guess we'll just let you do that.
there's more to the car. She slashed 2 tires and scratched the surface with her keys. I completely snapped, told her she was an evil little witch, and demanded she get out of my house. My wife sided with her, saying Carrie was just acting out and I shouldn't call her that.
What are we? Oh, okay, yeah, the name calling is one. Yeah, maybe that's a little too intense. I get it's the heat of the moment. Why is wife? I mean, yeah, don't call them names, but why is wife being like, no, the car's fine. Look, it can still drive.
I think you both suck. I think you probably Carrie hates you for good reason, and you hate Carrie for a good reason. But only one of you is like a teenager who's going through like, I don't know, a new parental figure in their life and moving into a new place. It's of course unacceptable that she's destroying your car, but like, yeah, you can't really like just immediately berate her and then say that she can't stay at your house anymore without that having been like a discussion with your partner. And I think if this is how bad it is with her daughter, I think you guys can't live together.
Yeah. Especially if she's like, you actually can't get upset at my daughter for literally destroying a car. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's a different thing. But yeah, I don't know if you guys need to break up, but you shouldn't be living together. And it's kind of on her for jumping on it so fast when her daughter was so clearly not into it.
Yeah. I was furious and told my wife that if she was okay with Carrie destroying my stuff, she could leave too. We argued for about 15 minutes. During the argument, I said I wanted Carrie to pay for my car. And if she didn't, I would sue her, as I had cameras recording everything. Andy told me I couldn't do that and called me heartless. In response, I told them both to pack their bags and leave. They did so around midnight. When I think about it now, I know I could have handled the situation more calmly, but I also think this had to happen. We will be getting a divorce, and I will see a lawyer to sue Carrie for destroying my car. I was just fed up with her constantly destroying things and being toxic overall. I talked to my parents, and my mom thinks I'm the a-hole. So Reddit, am I the a-hole?
A little bit.
We have some comments.
A little bit.
I mean,
Just in the way that you handled it. You know? Like, made them leave in the middle of the night and, whatever. It's your life and your relationship. You can divorce her for this. But, like, it really sounds like the way you react to stuff is actually, like, really immature and intense.
I mean, I'd be pretty mad if I came back to someone just destroying my car, and then the person in charge of them was like, well, you can't call them any names for this.
Yeah, no,
It's like,
I'd be
one,
upset.
I probably wouldn't be calling them names. But
Exactly.
Like, I can also be
right.
mad.
I'd be right. I'm not saying not to be mad, but you can't be like belligerent.
I didn't think he sounded belligerent.
I don't know.
I'm
think
with
it's-
Shawnee OP, a bit of a-hole for the behavior, not the a-hole on the total.
No, I agree.
Comment 1, not the a-hole. There's a difference between giving space and allowing someone to walk all over you. You gave the space and drew a line. If your wife had any respect for you or your marriage, she would have handled it before it got to this point. The kid needs therapy, but things like that don't fly in the real world. Better a civil court case versus charges being pressed. Comment 2 says, everyone sucks here, mostly your wife. She put her own needs before her daughter, who it sounds like was still grieving and not accepting of the situation when you married and moved in together. She should have paused and helped her daughter with some of her feelings, even if that meant postponing sharing a home for a bit. As things escalated, you guys definitely should have sought counseling. Your stepdaughter is absolutely in the wrong for her actions, but the adults haven't helped things.
Yeah.
Someone replies, what did OP do wrong, though? He's not forcing her to have a relationship with him. She destroyed his car and harassed him. That is also not his child. Her mother should have put her in counseling when the intimidation started. Her mother should have stepped in and punished her daughter for destroying the car. Grief is not an excuse to destroy someone's car. Yeah. Edit. So there's already a lot of questions about suing a 16-year-old. I don't know if I still want to do that, but I will try to explain it for you guys. I live in Central Europe, and laws in my country say that after the age of 15, you can be held accountable for your actions legally.
Dang.
You can't be sent to prison, but you aren't treated like a minor either, so yes, I could sue a 16-year-old. Me and my wife had a prenup and didn't share money, so after the divorce, if it actually happens, we should get settled pretty easily, so I won't be suing her or even myself. I don't know that if I sue Carrie, her mother will end up being the one who has to pay for the damage. I haven't talked to the lawyer yet, and we have an update. I think you should just sue Andy for Carrie's destruction, if anything.
Nah, dude. Sue the kid. Kid needs to learn that their action has consequences, and
I
Yeah.
just
That's
agree that I
that.
think that Andy's just going to pay it.
Yeah, but it's still through Carrie, which I think at this point,
Just get your money either way.
yeah,
Just
get
for
the
car.
money,
Be done with
whatever
them.
way you can get that car repaired or what have you. But I think that kid needs to go to therapy for sure, but also needs to learn, the F around, find out kind of thing.
yeah.
Update. A lot of you asked how I'm doing, so here's an update. It's been a couple of weeks since the incident. I met with my wife and discussed everything. She wanted to continue our marriage and give it a second chance. I told her I want a divorce. It was very hard for me, but in the end, I think it was the right decision. I still love my wife, but I do not want to be caught in the middle of all of that again. Last year was the most stressful and hardest period of my life, and I felt I had to prioritize my mental health and well-being. This wasn't easy for Andy either, but I think she understood. We agreed this would also be better for Carrie. I strongly advised Andy get her daughter professional help, and Carrie started therapy last week.
Good. Positive.
We went to the lawyer's office and signed the divorce papers. It was really quick and smooth. We had a prenup, did not share money, and our marriage lasted only a year. There are still some small things to deal with, but it's pretty much over. I also met with my lawyer. We got a rough estimate on the car damage, and it's significant. 2 slashed tires, deep scratches all over the car, and slightly cracked windows. It's about 6,000 euros. Average salary in my country is about 1,000 euros a month, so this is a lot. We talked to my insurance company, and my insurance doesn't cover vandalism or any kind of damage.
What does it cover then?
Or any kind of this damage.
What? Okay.
My lawyer strongly advised me to go to the police and press charges against Carrie. I wasn't sure, but he said this would help my case if anything went wrong. So I did that. A couple days later, I met with Andy to discuss the situation. By the way, I'm going to tell you guys the situation, and that's that you guys have to go listen to more episodes with stories just like this. You gotta go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Do it. We both brought our lawyers. I told her my insurance wouldn't cover the damage, and I wanted Carrie to pay for it. She said she doesn't have the money. They moved in with her parents, and she needs all the money she can get. I offered to pay for the damage now, and she will pay me back when she can. She agreed. Because I reported Carrie to the police, she will have a criminal record, which may cause future problems, but she kind of brought it on herself. In a couple weeks, she will likely face a civil rights court. My lawyer said she will most likely end up with a court-ordered psychiatrist and community service hours. It has been a rough couple of weeks, but my amazing friends helped me get through it, and I'm glad it's over. Thank you for your judgments and kind messages. And that's the end of that.
And that's that. Well, it sounds like you guys really did a great job divorcing.
Yeah, very easy divorce.
Very easy divorce. You're like, I'm suing your child. You're like, well, I can't really afford that. And you're like, okay, I'll pay for it now. You pay me back later. She goes,
Okay.
deal. And you're all moving on with your lives.
That's that.
Carrie needs to get therapy. Carrie is
She's in
scary.
it.
Carrie's scary. Scary Carrie.
I asked my daughter to leave her father's party because she's causing a scene.
This is not a movie. We do not need a scene.
Trigger warning, there's mentions of booze and substances. I, 50 female, and my husband, 53 male, have been together for 26 years now, and we have 3 children. I will not be using their real names, as I know some people on here may connect to the story, and my family does not want that to happen. My son, Alex, 22 male, my daughter, Sarah, 20 female, and my youngest daughter, Ella, 19 female. By the way, this comes from Branchy001, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, some background information on my family. Alex has started as a computer technician and lives in an apartment about 20 minutes away from us. He is usually quite a calm person and likes to have his own space a lot of the time. We see him every so often as he is a workaholic. Our daughter, Sarah, currently lives in her university town as she studies there and came back for the winter holidays. She is very hardworking and usually calms situations and fights. Ella was supposed to be taking a gap year, but she decided against going to university and works at a local pub as a bartender. She is very kind and caring and loves being with the younger nephews and nieces that we have. They're cousins. My husband's birthday was the 27th of December this year, and I had planned his birthday party since November. We take birthdays very seriously in our household, and I set up a birthday surprise party for him. My husband, I will call him Dave, had been a firefighter for 20 years. He retired 11 years ago. So I invited all his old colleagues, our family friends, and our family to our house for the celebration. Alex had taken him out for golf in the daytime so we could set everything up, and they were to be back at 6 p.m. My daughter, Sarah, and my sister-in-law helped set everything up in the house. This included collecting the cake, putting up decorations, organizing people, and blowing up a copious amounts of balloons. This is where the challenges started with Ella. I asked her multiple times during the day to come and help set everything up, and I was met with yelling or being told to go away in some lovely language I will not repeat here. I told her off for shouting at me, which only led to her locking her door. When my husband and son arrived, the party truly began, and that's when Ella came down. She came down in a short dress which showed a little too much skin and began to drink excessively. We're in the UK, so the legal age for drinking is 18. My daughter Sarah tried to get her to slow down, but was then shouted at and told to go away. This obviously attracted some attention from guests. I tried pushing them apart from each other so a fight would not start. This helped for a little bit as Ella went outside to sit on her own. A few hours into the party, I noticed Ella had come back inside and was trying to flirt with some of my husband's old colleagues. Oh, wow.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah. Ella, that's not your fella.
Yeah. One of them came up to me and told me what she was saying to them, which was, my room is only upstairs. I can show you. And I bet you look so good in your uniform.
No.
Which is obviously was quite disgusting to hear, as these men are much older than her and most are married. I did not want to tell Dave about this, as I did not want to ruin his birthday, so I told his friend to keep it quiet, and if she continued, I would sort it out myself.
She's just, hey, big guy. My bedroom is
Right.
upstairs.
Right.
Right here. I can show you.
They're like, you're 20 years younger than me.
She's like,
Maybe even 30.
what are you talking about?
It doesn't matter. God. She just starts just revving up like a bull, like in charges. As the party continued, Ella drank more and more and became incoherent and loud. At this point, a lot of people were getting annoyed with her and walking away. It came to a head when my 9-year-old nephew wanted to show her his new toy plane. Ella is usually good with him and will sit and talk to him even if he goes on and on. However, this time she picked the plane up and threw it across the room. Oh my god. This made a massive bang noise as it collided with the table and everyone spun around. At this point, I walked over to her and grabbed her by the arm and dragged her upstairs. I know I shouldn't have grabbed her like that, which I have apologized for.
Nah, honestly, it's your daughter, and she's just like a inebriated mess.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody's a little too messed up,
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta grab them by the arm and say, get over here. We are going this way.
Right.
We are going here.
Right.
And I am leading the way.
Because if you try to just like tell them and like, come on,
Yeah.
like, it might end up in an argument or just more of a scene.
This is not my daughter, but I had a buddy who,
Mhm.
when I lived in Hollywood and we had been out
Mhm.
and it was late, and he's doing like what he was like running up to like the security like gate of like some business on
Oh my gosh.
Hollywood Boulevard, and he was like doing like a wall run up it like over and over again, and it's just like I had to grab him and be
Yeah.
like, dude,
Like, come on.
stop.
Yeah.
You're gonna get arrested. Get over here.
Right.
We're leaving. He was like, no, more. And
Yeah.
it's just like, I'm not gonna have the kid gloves on
Yeah.
for this. You're getting yanked.
Sometimes it's just what you got to accept when you're going out for drinks. I walked her into her room and started shouting at her, telling her that she would not come out of her room until the next day. She became more aggressive with me and started throwing objects around her room at me, including a lamp and her hair straighteners. Alex came up as he could hear the commotion and managed to wrestle Ella onto her bed and keep her there. The party had ended at this point and most people went home. A family friend of ours who has children around the same age, I will call her Louise, said that she could take Ella to her house until she was calm. I said it would be okay. However, Ella heard this and started beginning to go with them and started saying how we don't treat her like an adult and how she's the victim. I let her go with them and she hasn't returned to the house.
Oh God.
I called her this morning, but she didn't answer. Louise said that she is still at hers, but is refusing to leave the room they gave her and does not answer when being called around the house. I told Dave about the inappropriate comments she was making to his old colleagues, which he was disgusted at, but said that when she is home, we will discuss this as a family. We have apologized to everyone, especially our nephew and his family, as it was very out of order what she did. I am still a little angry, but more upset, and I keep thinking about how she said she was a victim. I do not understand what happened yesterday.
Yeah, she's a victim of too many drinks.
Yeah, victim to herself. Is there anything I can do to make this right or sort this out? I didn't want Dave's birthday to be ruined, but I also want to know why Ella became so hostile. And there is an update, but there's gotta be something going on. I mean, if Ella has been like generally good, you guys raised her well, she's good with kids. She's a good person, but she moved away to college for probably a year at this point, maybe a little bit less. Like, I wonder if anything happened out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know what happened.
Yeah.
Good old Mr. Bubbles
Yeah.
showed up and she got freaking hammered. So,
Well, yeah.
yeah, like what happened is she got absolutely obliterated and acted a fool.
I'm just thinking
So-
if there's any reason that she's like acting out.
She's
You know?
18.
I guess.
I guess that is a little dismissive. It could be
Okay.
anything, you know?
Yeah,
At
I just-
18,
I
think about
wonder.
the things that bothered you at 8. You're closer to 18 than I am.
Yeah.
The things bothering you at 18, like,
It was like stupid stuff.
yeah,
I feel like when things bother you at 18, they like really bother you.
right. It's like the things that should just make you go, all right.
Yeah, but we do have an update, so let's find out. Hi everyone, sorry for not updating for a week. It's all a bit hectic as it has just been Christmas and New Year's. I would like to thank everyone for the advice, and it definitely helped when we had a sit-down discussion with her, but I shall get to that later. I would like to give some context again. Please read my original post as I do not have the energy to write that out again. I, 50 female, and my husband, Dave, 53 male, have been together for 26 years now. We have 3 children. My son, Alex, 22 male, my daughter, Sarah, 20 female, and my youngest daughter, Ella, 19 female. It was my husband's birthday on December 27th, and crap went down with our daughter, Ella. Before I start, I would like to address some of the comments. A lot of people were asking if Ella has a booze or substance problem. She does not. She is usually very restrained with drinking and does not drink heavily. For substances, I do not know what she does in her free time, but I would be disappointed if she's done any. However, I did have to remind myself that we were all 19 once, and sometimes we make mistakes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I would rather she had told us, but again, we were all 19 once. Furthermore, the essay comments I have no idea about. I see where everyone is coming from, and I respect that. I understand it is a very hard topic of conversation to have, especially with your parents. I'm assuming this is the question of maybe essay happened in college. Maybe that's why she's acting out in some sort of way
Yeah.
or drinking more. That's possible too.
There's also so many other reasons. that
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
But I guess it's always good to check in with your,
Yeah.
kids about, hey, you're okay, right?
Right? Yeah. As I said at the start of the post, we did have a conversation with her, and I will talk on that soon. After Ella left with our friend, we tried calling her the next day, but she did not pick up. We messaged her multiple times, and I messaged her to apologize for grabbing her at the party. She read them, but did not respond. Our friend who took her said she was not cooperative with her or her family and just stayed in the room they gave her and only came out to go to the bathroom, fill her water bottle up, or get food. Our other daughter, Sarah, called her on the 29th and offered to collect her as we had gotten a phone call from the family saying that Ella needed to leave the house. Ella apparently screamed at Sarah down the phone, calling her numerous names and refusing to leave. On the 30th, we received a message from Ella saying she is at her friend Grace's house and will be staying there over New Year's. To quote Ella, she said it is because her family is, quote, nicer and more accommodating to her, which hurt us.
We'll see how nice and accommodating they are once you pull the same stunt you pulled at Louise's.
Yeah. Grace and Ella have been friends since they were 12, and I have Grace's mom's number, so I called her. She said Ella is very upset still and does not want to speak to us, but we'll try to convince her to have a conversation with us as it is important to get to the root of the issue.
Yeah, honestly, this is starting to sound like there's something that happened and she just like can't
Right?
process it or
That's
something.
what I'm thinking.
Because why is this being redirected at you guys? Like it almost seems like a coping mechanism, like to deflect in her own head away from whatever is going on. That it's like, no, actually, I'm mad at my parents and it is my parents' fault. Yeah, that's what's going on. It's definitely a strange pattern of behavior, but also like sort of like 18, 19 is like, those late teenage years are when like if you do have like any sort of mental disorders or mental health issues, like they will start to, come up in much more, acute,
Right.
noticeable ways.
Once you're like on your own, you don't have the same schedule and stuff that you did before.
But yeah, it's just the timeline on a lot of those, like you begin to develop them like as you become in your late teens and early 20s. Like,
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yesterday, 2nd of January, we managed to have a sit down with Ella at Grace's house. Ella requested that Grace be there for the conversation, and we agreed. It was Dave, Sarah, and I who came to the house. When we arrived, Grace's mom sat us in the living room and said we should allow Ella to speak first. Ella and Grace came downstairs, and Ella started talking about the 27th and what happened. I will sum up the conversation. Ella started with how she was sorry she ruined my husband's birthday and that she did not mean to get that wasted. She said that she had taken an edible, which
Yeah.
is devil's lettuce, but you eat it. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
And then she had mixed it with booze, which obviously didn't turn out well. Ella said she wanted to apologize to her cousin as she was upset that she had upset him by ruining his toy. We gave her a hug and said we know she didn't mean any of it. Sarah asked why she was trying to flirt with all the men at the party. Ella said she doesn't even remember doing that, but nothing bad has happened to her and she just wasn't in the right state of mind. She apologized for shouting at everyone and said that she only ignored our messages and calls because she was embarrassed at herself and did not want to face what she had done. Ella has now moved back into the house and we are going to see my nephew tomorrow. She is bringing him some presents as she feels guilty about breaking his. She has written a message down for Dave to send to his friends about what she was doing at the party, and Dave will send it in the morning. And by the way, every morning you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast platform. Just type in OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story, but I like where this is going.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let people space to come to their own realizations. Although, I am a little like, why did we go to Louise's and then lock ourselves in the room the whole time? I know you were embarrassed. Well, I guess they were there, so maybe she was also embarrassed
Yeah.
to face them. But
true.
man, that's a pretty high level of delusion if you can be staying at someone's house that they welcomed you into and then
Yeah.
completely ignore them when
Right.
they call for you or ask for you or are like, hey, leave.
Yeah, Ella is honestly very lucky to have so many supportive people around her.
Yeah.
Alex and Ella still need to have a conversation, as one of the things she threw at me did hit him instead, and he is not pleased about it. He is currently at his house as he has work to do, but he said over next week he should be free. Overall, it has been a better outcome than expected, and we hope we can get the family back on track. I hope no one holds anything she did against her, as we now know what happened. Also, one thing my older nephew, 16, thought he would remind me of: have a poo at the start of the year so you are not carrying old crap with you. Lots of love. And that's the end of that story.
My dad's wife crashed my daughter's birthday in a costume, so I banned her.
What costume is the most important question?
Kool-Aid Man.
Spider-Man.
Oh.
For context, my dad has been with Kathy for a little under 15 years. She's technically his third wife, so she's always been very insecure about her place in his family, which has unfortunately led her to become very needy and histrionic. By the way, this comes from Party Costume Throwaway. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, my daughter is turning 6 in February, and we're planning her birthday party. Last year, my husband and I threw her a Cinderella-themed party at our place. Oh no. My dad showed up without Kathy, who had claimed to be sick. It didn't bother me, but I remember feeling something was off. Near the end of the party, Kathy showed up in a Cinderella costume. She was acting in character and trying to interact with the kids. Neither me nor my husband had been informed she'd be doing that. At most, she'd asked me whether we were hiring any party performers a few weeks prior. I later found out she'd been planning to surprise my daughter and bought the costume the day she found out what the theme would be. My husband and I are still positive Kathy did this for attention. It didn't really work. My daughter recognized her immediately, but it did disrupt things a little. Because she did this around the time the kids were eating cake and some of the parents were getting ready to leave. We managed to sort things out, but it took some time and we still had to deal with a dozen confused preschoolers. It was a great party besides that, and our daughter enjoyed herself, which is what mattered most. But my husband and I asked Kathy not to do this again, and she agreed and apologized. I'm pretty sure she's planning on doing it again. We spent a lot of the time with my paternal family during the holidays, and I noticed Kathy was bringing up Cinderella's appearance at the party very frequently. She was reminiscing, showing pictures, and talking about what she'd do differently. She didn't talk to my kids about it much, but she did ask my daughter what theme she wanted for her party this year, and how she'd feel if one of the characters showed up.
It's just like, you mean if you showed up, I know.
I really don't want to have to deal with this surprise again, especially if it comes with no warning like last time. We're also throwing this year's party at a venue, not at home, meaning we have a time slot to abide by. My husband and I spoke to Kathy about our concerns. She didn't say she was planning on showing up in costume, but she kept insisting that if she did, the kids would love it and it could be fun. We tried to make her promise she wouldn't do it, but she kept dodging it and claiming she didn't see the problem. Finally, we told her it would be best that she doesn't come at all. She can join us for the dinner we're having afterwards, but not the actual party. Now she's upset and my dad is angry at us. He firmly believes we're being paranoid and dramatic. I'm worried we're going too far, but I'm almost certain she is indeed planning on doing it again, and I don't want to risk having problems at the party. So am I the a-hole?
I mean, you could just go to her and be like, do not do this. If you do this, you will not be attending any future events. You will be at arm's length because this is a party for my kid, not for you to show up and be like the star of the show, which is, again, fine if that's going to happen, but it's not. We don't want it. And if we were going to hire someone, we'd hire a stranger that our daughter doesn't know.
Or Kim Fine's idea, lean into the Cinderella thing, bully her, and make her clean before, after, and during the whole party.
Well, yeah, that works at first, but then you got to get her glass shoes and find her a husband.
Find her a
like,
prince, and then what's your dad gonna do?
Yeah, it's pretty,
Taking his
I don't
wife
know.
away. And we have some comments, and I gotta say, this top commenter, pretty good idea.
Okay.
Lucky Effective 1564, not the a-hole, but you could tell her that you're having a Chewbacca party and see what happens.
Yeah, she just shows up full-blown Chewbacca.
I love it. OP says, LOL, I might just do that on my own birthday. Same Z15, this is one of those questions that could go either way. On the one hand, you're totally right to have your boundaries, and it's weird that she's trying to not only surprise your daughter, but also to surprise you. Why is she so obsessed with being a Disney princess? On the other hand, everything from you feels like a bit of an overreaction because it's just a princess costume. Unless you're getting creepy child predator vibes from her, she seems like she's just trying to do something fun for the kids. Maybe it was awkward because you made it awkward? No, it's awkward because Kathy's a little attention-seeking witch right now. At a 6-year-old child's birthday party.
Yeah, but you did make it more awkward by being like, you can't come at all. It should have just been like a very, hey, no, you wanted to show up in the costume, and I kind of get the feeling you want to do it again this year. Do not do that. If you do that again after we've explicitly said do not do that, then it's going to be weird.
This commenter's like shaming OP for being mad at the Cinderella thing, though. And I'm like...
Again, like, get mad? I don't know, but be weirded out? Yeah, it's like, well...
Yeah,
you
it's
should have
weird.
asked us because it's like she knew that you're you. So she knows you dressed up as Cinderella is just you dressed up as Cinderella.
But it is generally harmless. I don't know this lady, and I guess my judgment of the situation would depend on her actions outside of this. Does she frequently cross boundaries? Is she generally liked by your kids? Does she treat them well? Those kinds of things. Opie says, I think that's a fair assessment. I don't really care about the awkwardness potential. I care about it being done with no prior warning. There was a little girl at the party last year who started crying because she and her parents had to leave, but Cinderella had just arrived. I'm having this event thrown, so I want to know what will happen, especially this year. She's not very respectful of boundaries, but not the worst case in my family. She's the kind of person who does what she thinks other people should like instead of what they actually want. The kids like her but don't love her. And OP adds, I'm pretty sure I can tell the venue not to let her in, but I'll have to check. Old man Kibitzer says, not the a-hole. It sounds like she was absolutely planning to do it again. While I personally don't know what the problem is, being that you have a problem with it, then you need to address it. Also, if she's insecure about being the third wife, she shouldn't be doing things that upset the family. Opie says the problem is more of a time and child managing thing than anything else. If me, my husband, and the venue aren't aware, we can't control it. And it's difficult to manage these things with so many young kids around. We can't stay there after our time slot, so I don't want to risk anything being delayed. It's also very annoying in general. If I wanted a performer, I would hire one. But I'm more worried about the lack of warning. To another commenter, it's still a distraction that can derail things. I also have no way to guarantee she'll show up at an appropriate time. Cinderella literally interrupted cake last time.
Interrupted you.
How does that make you feel?
Your Christmas hams.
You don't interrupt cake. You don't interrupt me.
What?
You don't interrupt me. Never interrupt me. Did you try to interrupt me?
Yeah,
Yeah, it didn't work.
I did try. I just tried.
He's got all the power with his little switchy board over there.
He could mute me if he wanted. But he won't.
Could you imagine if I had that power?
He won't. He
To
won't
just
do
mute-
that.
My power is just to mute Dakota. Hello, Dakota. You may speak.
Okay.
Select negotiation 87, not the a-hole. But oh my god, LMAO. Tell her this year's theme is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. See, the thing is everyone's suggestions, they all have a very fun, lovely female character that she would just dress up as instead.
Yeah.
She'd be like, oh, you want Hunchback of Notre Dame? I will dress up as main lady from it.
She's like, you doing
I forget her
dinosaurs?
name.
I'm Laura Dern.
You're doing
What up?
Chewbacca. I'm dressing as,
Princess Leia.
yeah, Leia.
Yeah. You're doing Knights of the Round Table. I'm dressing up as the sword.
I thought you could say the round table.
I'm dressing up as a round table.
You're halfway through cake and the table starts moving and you're like, wait, what is this? OP says, we've made it very clear that this is more difficult to manage than it seems, but she refuses to accept it. She sadly already knows the theme, obviously, will be K-pop demon hunters this year.
Yeah.
Who could have guessed it? Maybe she just wants to help. She could help me set up party favors or write invitations, but she doesn't want to do that. She wants to be the entertainment. Be more blunt or direct. I feel like it's hard to be as blunt as we're being now. We've told her multiple times, in several different ways, do not show up in a costume. She's not outright admitting she's planning on trying again. But she keeps dodging it and saying she's sure the kids will love it. And for the record, my kids didn't really like it last year. Again, my daughter recognized her right away. How old is Kathy again?
I'm not
This
sure.
is her
I'm not
dad's
sure.
husband showing up like Cinderella and now presumably Rumi.
It's
Like this is like a relatively old lady
it's just the
popping in here as Cinderella.
notion that it's like, yeah, someone that
No age. I can't
know.
find an age for Kathy.
But it's still like it's this 6-year-old's grandma showing up as Cinderella.
it's just like, well, she knows you. Regardless of anything else, you're an old, crusty Cinderella. But she knows you, so it's not gonna be like Cinderella's here. It's gonna be like your step grandma is here,
Right, and now
And
you're
you
gonna show
know
up as
it.
Rumi?
and that's not really that fun.
Why is Kathy doing this? I genuinely think this is because of her insecurities. She's the younger third wife who showed up when her husband's children were growing and his family was sick of caring about his relationship history. So she tries to take whatever chance she gets to assert herself as part of the family. As my husband puts it, Kathy acts like she's allergic to not having eyes and ears on her. She's been like this for as long as she's been around. But it gets worse and more ridiculous as time goes by. It's been especially bad since I had kids. Most comments were not the a-hole, and we have an update 5 days later.
Yeah, she is main character syndrome
Yeah, to the max.
to the max. To the point where she is showing up as the main character.
Yeah, 5 days later. So I have a love/hate relationship with being right. My dad called me 2 days after I posted. There's a purple wig at his place that's styled suspiciously similar to Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh my
Who
goodness.
could have guessed that? Certainly not any of
just-
us.
But
Don't
how is
do
she
it.
gonna sing the song? I
Don't.
need to hear Golden at peak performance, and
my
if she misses one note,
I need her to
one word,
spontaneously outfit change between all 3 of them.
Why do this?
She's so crazy.
Why?
What is Kathy doing?
After it was so clear, we don't
Right.
want this.
is she
At
gonna
least now
sing
there's no
Korean?
denial from Kathy because it's like, oh, you weren't gonna show up doing that? What is this braided purple wig doing here
It's-
that is Rumi's?
Just the same purple wig everyone has. Nothing to
Oh
see
yeah,
here.
you've got that purple wig.
Everyone
Dakota?
has the same purple wig.
You should just
You
like
should wear
make
that
it.
to work tomorrow.
You should just like try and throw her off like the track of like what the kids want. Like, oh yeah, let's like I can't think of something like really like I know they said the Hunchback, but like something else that like she can
Yeah,
really
the
get
issue
into.
was she already talked to the kids about it.
I
and
know.
stuff.
That's why like next time.
You'd have to get really far ahead of it.
Just like
But honestly, would there even be a next time? She's already proved she can't be trusted twice.
third
Yeah.
time's the charm.
He opened Kathy's mail thinking it was his and found it. The costume itself is set to arrive in about a week. She wasn't planning on telling him about either. He's claiming they fought because neither the costume nor the wig were cheap. But he also felt the need to tell me she'd been watching the movie repeatedly to study and that she cares so much, and that isn't it so sweet how much Kathy loves my kids, and maybe my daughter would like it this time. That was all I heard before I went to look for a pillow to scream into. I'm done. This made me a lot angrier than it should have, but it isn't the first time someone in my family decides my plans and the effort I put in don't mean crap. And if I can't even plan my own child's birthday party without someone trying to butt in, I don't have to feel bad about drawing the line. Kathy is officially banned from the party. My husband and I have alerted the venue that we didn't hire any character performers, and if any Caucasian-looking Korean pop stars show up, they must tell her to go home. We also gave them a picture of her. They basically told us they can't let anyone who's not on the guest list inside anyway, so she won't be allowed. I feel horrible about making them deal with my family drama, but at least that's one less thing to worry about. My dad and I did fight about this, but I put my foot down. He kept arguing that it wouldn't be a big deal if I just let Kathy have this. I told him that's not the point. If he's not the one who's going to have to manage the situation, he doesn't get to tell me how hard it is to do it. In the end, this is what we settled on. My dad can come to the birthday party, as long as Kathy doesn't tag along. If she does, they're both out. Both of them can still join us for dinner later. I'm also thinking about lowering my contact with both my dad and Kathy. I love my dad, but no headache is worth this. I want to wait until I'm calmer to work out the details. I want to thank everyone. I've got a lot going on in my life, and my therapist is on vacation, so it feels good to rant about this. But for my own sanity, I'm going to focus on relaxing for the next couple of weeks. I already feel much lighter knowing this is over. We have some of OP's comments. Sarah secrets the dad trying to frame her studying a movie to hijack a toddler's party as sweet instead of unhinged is some world-class enabling. Opie says, happens a lot, even when he disagrees with her. Valuable job at 7956. You know she'll show up for dinner in the costume, right? Opie says it's not the same thing. If she shows up in costume at a party full of small kids without warning, it's easy for history to repeat itself. If she shows up in costume at a restaurant in which the only children present will be family, and there wouldn't be any real excuse for a character performer to be there, at worst, she embarrasses herself. Paisley Viking said, when's the party? You know we all want an update, and you're not the a-hole. If she oversteps and you allow it, the oversteps are going to get bigger and bigger. Opie says, I'm not sure I'll update again. I'm pretty confident she won't come to the party. If I truly don't update, it's because nothing happened, and the venue reassured me nothing will. When several comments say Kathy will show up anyway, Kathy will not be allowed inside the venue, costume or not. If my dad shows up with her, she will be asked to leave, and I won't let him in either. She can't be allowed inside the venue without being on the guest list. They know who she is, what she looks like. Doesn't matter if she's in costume or not. There's zero chance Kathy is coming to the party. But you guys can join us for a party of listening to episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Yeah. I see some comments from Cassandra just being like, I mean, yeah, I'd just be like, Granny's coming as roomie, whatever. But I think the problem is that she doesn't want it to be, she wants it to be like her own thing, and she wants it to be a secret. And the problem was that last time she like disrupted the flow because it was like everything was winding down. It's the end of the party. They're doing cake. People are going to be ready to leave.
That were leaving.
And then she showed up, and now all the kids they're about to leave are like, I don't want to leave. Cinderella got here. So it's like, that's frustrating.
There's also like the basic principle of like, why can't you just listen? Like you're just refusing boundaries at this point. Like that's a problem. You're a grown adult. Like, grow up. You're not a Disney princess. Pumpkin Witch 13 says, I was a character performer and this is wild. There's a reason why we're scheduled and reasons why we're hired. The odds that Kathy can sound and look both like Cinderella from Disney and a K-pop demon hunter is just wild. And she's like, what, 50, 60 too? I don't mean to be judgmental, but kids can tell something might not be right if Cinderella went from being 18 to 58. The most important rule to being a performer is doing nothing that would break the facade that the character is real. Opie says exactly. I have a friend who used to be a party princess, and she cringed when I told her what happened. Kathy is in her 40s. She does look younger, but not enough to pass as these characters. When she dressed as Cinderella last year, she didn't wear a wig. She's blonde and wore the same makeup she always wears, so there was no chance my daughter wouldn't have recognized her. That's the end of that story.
I asked my daughter to clean up after her period. She said I shamed her.
That's a bloody mess.
I'm a 41 male single dad with a 13-year-old daughter, Lacey. My wife passed away in childbirth, and it's just been me and Lacey all her life. My sister has been a big help in raising Lacey, and we do keep in contact with her maternal grandparents. By the way, this comes from user deleted. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon,
I'm Sophia.
and we're here to give good advice goofily. We're just a bunch of goofballs, so we're going to give you goofy advice. We don't know everything, so let us know what you do in the comments. As Opie says, the issue started a couple of months ago when Lacey started her period. I knew this day would come, so I spoke to my sister, my female best friend, and my mother-in-law to be well prepared. I gave her the talk with her grandmother and aunt there. I buy her pads and tampons. I even have Midol and heating pads ready for Lacey when she needs them. The problem began when I began to notice a smell coming from Lacey's room. I went in to investigate and found pads and tampons openly disposed of in her wastebasket. I checked her bathroom and it was worse. She had her blood-stained undergarments in the tub. I took out her trash and did my best to get rid of the smell, but I didn't know what to do with the underwear in the tub.
Okay, well, wait. What do you mean bloodstained underwear in the tub? Because is she like trying to clean it and then leaves it to like hang in the tub? What's going on there? I need specifics because that's not abnormal if she tried to wash it and then is hanging it.
Yeah, do you think she's gonna leave it in her like laundry basket? It's probably her first
Yeah,
one, or like one of her first couple like
Yeah, that's not
underwears
that
where it's
great.
like stained.
Yeah, I feel like you probably just need to have a conversation about how to clean that.
Yeah.
And that's just cold water usually. To get out the blood when you first notice it.
And she's probably she's a kid or she's a teenager and she's like trying to figure out probably on her own what to do. No one told her this. And
Yeah.
she probably doesn't want to go to you about this. Later, I noticed bloodstains on the couch. It took a while of cleaning it, but I got them out. I figured that was the end of that. It happened again last month when I noticed Lacey's room was stinking again. And I saw she didn't even wash the underwear from before. The bathroom was unbearable at this point. Then earlier this week, I saw bloodstains on the couch again.
This girl just doesn't know how she's young. We just have to have a talk with her.
Yeah, we have to have a conversation. I feel like did we have a conversation the first time, Dad?
I would have had the conversation the first time and been like, hey, we gotta be like, make sure you're being careful about like wearing pads and stuff so that we don't get anything on the couch.
Or like your clothes. Yeah, I feel like this is again a perfect time to bring in your sister OP and be like have a conversation with her. I sat Lacey down and told her that she had to learn to properly dispose of her feminine hygiene products and wash her underwear as the smell was becoming too much, and to be careful of getting bloodstains on the couch or anywhere she sits. I also noticed her sheets had a lot of bloodstains and brought this up too. I also let her know that it was okay to get blood on things as long as she washed them, and I wouldn't be upset if I saw her bloodstained items being washed. Lacey immediately blew up at me saying that periods aren't gross and that I was period shaming and that I needed to educate myself on menstruation. I then got texts from my sister and mother-in-law scolding me for making Lacey feel ashamed of her bodily function. But I honestly wasn't trying to convey that periods are gross. I was trying to convey that her hygiene needed to be addressed and that the smell was becoming unbearable. I just wanted to make sure that Lacey knew how to properly dispose of pads and tampons without it smelling, and that I wouldn't be annoyed if she washed her bloodstained items. Am I the a-hole here? Was I period shaming my daughter? And we do have an edit.
No.
I don't think in the...
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally. Thank you.
Yeah. Not
intentionally. But when she's on her period and you say things of like, you're making stains.
Smell bad.
It stinks up in here.
It doesn't make her feel good.
Not the right words to be using. I think you went about like talking about it in the wrong way.
I remember there were outfits that I wanted to wear out that my parents were like, you can't wear out. So you can't wear that out because of this and this reason. And I was like, oh, you're like shaming me. And I'm like, definitely shouldn't have worn those outfits out. They were right. But it's like a personal thing. You feel very attacked as a young woman.
Yeah, and I know you're not doing that, OP. You're trying your best. You are you're a single dad. You did half the battle. You got her all the products. I think it's just now you need to know how to navigate the situation. It's not a straight direct thing like, it's easy. It's like,
it's wording.
Let's swerve around this.
Wording
the
is
wording
everything.
Especially in this situation.
Got to be a lawyer about it.
We got an edit. So, I've mentioned it in a few comments. I talked to my sister and mother-in-law and explained my side. They apologized for misunderstanding and, like you guys, have given some good cleaning tips and they'll talk to Lacey and help her out with the pads and tampons too. Edit number 2. So many people here have suggested it, and I've asked Lacey if her period pain is unbearable or just normal cramps, and left the choice to her as to whether or not she wants to see a specialist, but the option is there for her. Edit 3. We have washed the sheets with hydrogen peroxide and purchased some OxyClean for future instances, should we need it. Many of you have also suggested period underwear, which again, I have asked her aunt and grandmother about, and they'll be able to give her more info about those as well as different hygiene products she can use. And we got an update. It's been a while since my original post, and I remembered the outpouring of advice and support I got from this community. I figured I would give a happy update involving a good smelling house and mending fences with Lacey. In my original post edits, I let everyone know I heeded their advice about cleaning methods and different feminine hygiene products outside of pads and tampons. I let my mother-in-law and sister handle things in that department. They also showed her how to properly dispose of items like pads and tampons and clean bloodstains prior to throwing them in the laundry better than I could. I also spoke to Lacey and asked if she'd like to talk to a therapist after also scheduling an OBGYN visit at her aunt and grandma's urging. So we've scheduled a video visit with both. Waitlists suck. She also had her period sometime back and was on top of her hygiene. I didn't smell a thing. I even saw her doing her laundry. I did, however, want to make sure Lacey didn't think I was trying to shame her and turn everyone else against her. So I sat her down and I reiterated that I loved her unconditionally and that I wasn't mad at her for the smell and the bloodstains, and that I noticed she improved with her hygiene. She appreciated that. And by the way, I'll appreciate if you can listen to more episodes just like this one by going to your favorite podcast app such as Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and searching up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left here. This is just this is just life.
Just life.
Yeah, especially you being a single dad. This is just how you navigate it.
Yeah. You're gonna make little faux pas and say the wrong thing. But as long as you own up to it and figure out how to, proceed a little bit more carefully, you're good. And you did great. You had good intentions, and those were seen. And now we're all better.
OP, I guarantee you this is going to be the first of many where you're going to be going to your mother-in-law and sister and asking for advice.
Oh, yeah.
Lacey also apologized for getting defensive and admitted that she was still feeling awkward about her body changing and how it was really beginning to dawn on her that she didn't have a mother. She's never really spoken about that before, so I got takeout from her favorite restaurant and we watched her favorite movies while I told her about the memories my wife and I shared and how she couldn't wait to be a mother while we went through photo albums. All in all, we're a happy and clean home again. I hope Lacey will be able to work through the loss of her mother with the therapist. Myself and my sister and mother-in-law are around for support in that area too. So things are looking up for both myself and my daughter.
Genuinely, because I don't know, this is an actual question. What is there to do in Dubai?
Oh, there's a lot.
Like, what do you do there? I just know it's like the richest city in the world.
It's
or
just
the most
like
expensive.
they have a lot of things over there. Like obviously, you can get really expensive cars, but they have like really, really fine dining. Obviously, it's just like
is this things that you bring young children to?
Yeah, I think there's definitely like amusement parks and everything like there.
I'm not taking my even if I had the money.
And the end of this episode.
Yes, it is. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And
and
see
see
you
you tomorrow.